You can continue to explain it. I'm just going live because so we can start. Just go ahead and be about your business. I'm just starting live though.
Okay. So yeah, I got this is one of the tracks that I found when I come out Saturday afternoon, and thank God no one was up in there, and I cast it. I got it on video. I made a couple videos, couple three videos. I had a rock thrown at me. I went into a bedding area down along the creek. Daniel, you know where you go that walk that trail back there, and you take that upper trail to your right, back up
Uh,
behind Kennedy Fields.
okay. Oh yes, yes, yes.
Okay, if you walk by that about 20 yards, you remember where me and you first set the game cameras back there on the left side of that trail,
Yeah,
back there where it's swampy.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, I went back there and I took a left when I got back there, and I found a structure right there. Then I started walking down about 20 more yards, and I seen a trail going down to the creek.
Hmm.
I followed that trail in there, and what do you know?
Hmm.
Squatches went everywhere. You could hear them moving and shit. I had a big rock thrown at me, but you could see where they were laying at. You could see I mean, I got everything on video, man, and you could see right where they went down to the creek. Got a nice deep water hole they can drink water, take a bath in, and you can see on the rocks where they went across the creek and went over in there over on the
Right.
other side of the creek. And when I turned around and walked back out, that's when the rock come flying over, and you can hear the boom, 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 boom of the rock.
Hmm.
Like, okay, cool. But
Um.
the footprints was if I can't heel the toe from level foot, well, from one foot to the other, from the left foot to the right foot, I almost had to do a split to get to the second footprint.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now, Fred, since you sent that video message to Mr. Arnold, have you heard anything back?
No, I just basically told him, I mean, I explained my situation to him, and I told him, look, if you got the stones, call me.
Right. Yeah, I remember Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that part.
don't remember he's got my number, And all he's got to do is call me and explain to me what the fuck's going on. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to remain friends, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. But like I said in the video, 95% of the researchers are being drugged down by other people because they
Right.
listen to them and they believe them, and that turns everybody against everybody. We
Right.
don't need
Yep.
that in the Bigfoot world. It's
They're just trying to create controversy. That's all it
that's
is.
it.
If you let them
It's
bring
just
you down, like I have trouble with quite a few people, and I mean I name names like Russ Mock, Steven Schufer, a lot of people along those lines. Every time I would post something, Richard Allen, I mean, it, all them people in the coalition, all the people that are out there, they bitch, whine, moan, barely do any research, and uh, what they do is they team up on you. So let's say I'm having a conversation. I'm just using names. Let's say Russ Mock. I'm having a conversation with him. If I get one up on him or something like that, and he feels offended, he goes and contacts the rest of them, and it'll be Kathy Crockett, this one, that one, Jennifer, all of them, and they all come after you, and it's a snowball effect. And then you've got 12 or 14 of them uh, dibbling, nibbling at everything you say, and you'll have a 500 comments on a post, and they're all bashing you. So when people do see that have no idea, they believe the other people instead of you because you're only one.
right.
Well,
And
Right.
well, here's the thing about it. A couple of years ago, me and Paul Halsley,
Oh, he's watching, by the way. He's.
yeah, we were nailed. I was being hit by Jeff Kelly, his brother. That whole group. I mean, they started riding me. They said, "Well, you don't know Jeff Meldrum." I said, "Well, I mean, go ahead and ask him. Then come get in touch with me and let me know if you did, and tell me what he says." Well, they didn't. So, but I mean,
well,
I've
when
been
they feel threatened, you're
look.
a target. When anybody feels threatened by your research, you become a target.
Exactly.
You know,
But
I've heard that on a number of occasions. But you know, the
yeah,
thing is, why do they have to be jealous? If that's the case, if they are jealous, like that's what a lot of people come back telling me, because you know, I've had people saying, "Well, Daniel, you're actually making a name for yourself," and what you know, when people start being, when your awareness is being spread, like you know, like you're working on trying to do, and people seeing what's going on and what you're actually accomplishing, then they say it's jealousy. I don't understand why. You know, we're all in it together. You
yeah,
We're
know,
you
as
not.
far as
know,
I see it.
We're not though to them. The problem is, let's put this in. Let's break this down in groups. When Group A is seeing a lot of good things coming out of the field, prints, hand casts, videos, everybody's getting along. Uh, Group B hates to see that, so they throw stones at Group A. While Group C, now they feel left out, so they say, well, let's just go at them both and let's just create this whole mosh pit of everything. And then you end up getting lost from the whole original idea that you posted anyway. They don't like if you're getting evidence, casts, footprints, videos. You know, the first thing they say is he's not scientific. That's the only thing that
Yeah.
they could say, or you're not doing it scientific. I'm not a damn scientist. This is what I tell people, but I can imply some type of scientific method, the way I handle my shit, the way it's taken care of, the way it's sent to the lab, the way everything is. You know, I don't share everything. They don't care. They don't even care to ask you a backstory. And if they do, they try to break it down and be analytical and like throw all this garbage. It's almost like they're mad that they're like I said to Steven Strufert the other day. I made a video. I said your Bluff Creek project that you have going on. It seems like everybody that you come in contact with, you shoot them all down. You fight with every outsider. And I said, it seems like there's a trend going on. There's a reason this is happening. And I'm thinking, well, why? Are they mad that they're not getting any evidence? I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And then you go out and you charge people for batteries and cameras and all this crazy shit, but that's okay. I couldn't charge people for stuff. I mean, either
Right.
way, it's whatever. But I think it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I agree. Long time no see, Nikki.
Hi. Sorry.
How you doing?
Good.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I'm sure you know you're in a lot of Bigfoot forums. I'm sure you see a lot of the craziness. You know, the he said, she said, BS, and all the drama and everything that floats around. You know,
Oh yeah.
all because I mean, I got people sharing stuff back to me and stuff like that. Like, look at the crap that's going on here, and I was like, wow. And I thought he was gonna let it go, but apparently people still want to call people hoaxers for associating with this person and that person that's connected to that person and so forth. And it's it's funny. Even out of Rick Dyer's mouth, Rick Dyer said it's very immature, which he's right
Well,
about that.
that's one of the reasons I stopped doing video broadcasts and doing my little thing is because I started doing all my shows were just like negative, negative. They were just,
Mm.
this is going on and these people are fighting and this is how I feel about it. Well, who cares? For me, like the whole Rick Dyer thing, I loved it because that was my personal Bigfoot soap opera. Every
There you
day.
go.
Every day I got on there thinking, what happened today? I wanted to see what was going on. And as a matter of fact, I had gotten contacted by the producer or whatever wanting to use a little piece of one of my videos where I was defending Rick, saying,
Right.
I had said, if you don't like him, don't watch him. You know, if you
Exactly.
don't if you don't want to buy his DVDs, don't buy it. If
Right.
because that was my whole thing is that all these people that are mad about him ripping off people, it was their own fault. Why would you give your hard-earned money to somebody?
Yeah.
You know,
and
if you So that's, it's just going to happen. It's going to keep happening, all this mess with everybody hating everybody, and it's
Yeah.
never going to change,
It's all about money.
Yeah. Hi, Nikki. Long
Hi, Freddie, darling. That's what I
time.
put on the other thing, but you couldn't see
Yeah,
it.
on the live chat. I know. When I saw she was watching and she said that on the live chat, I said, "Oh man, I gotta send Nikki the link."
Yeah, yeah.
I
Hey,
thought I was
Nick.
going to get away with just watching.
Yeah. Hey, Nikki. I got some good video of Squatches follow me on my GoPro from
Oh, you
behind.
know what? The other day, I think I was watching that, and I thought I saw something going
I still
across.
have. Oh, I still have yet to watch that. 'Cause,
But I wanted to
man,
go back and put it on this screen, my bigger one, because I was
Yeah.
just watching it on my phone, and I thought, what did I just see?
Well,
So
there,
I
there,
was,
there's two videos of the GoPro. There's no talking in it whatsoever. I was
yeah,
just watching
it wasn't
TV.
any talking. I started to watch it, but I need to go back and rewatch because I swear I thought something saw
Well,
a shadow
at,
or something.
at the very beginning, I don't know if it's the first video or the second video, over to my right. If you pay close up attention, you'll see a cinnamon. Where the hell she go?
she probably her network. She'll jump back on.
Okay.
Took a walk.
Yeah, but I was
Yeah.
saying at the very beginning of the first one or second one, if you take and watch very closely to the right side of me, you will see a blonde squatch turn and walk away. You're only gonna catch about a second worth of them because when I walked, the camera's going like this,
Yeah.
everything.
Oops.
Okay, but anyway, if you watch I see it on the first video or the second one, to my right. Dang it!
Oh. Yeah, she's probably having network problems. She's
Well,
I think what?
she's out there in flatland, man. So how can it be so bad?
What's she at? She's down in Texas, ain't she?
Where are you, Arizona or Texas?
I'm in Texas right now. I'm in El Paso.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. But anyway, like I said, if you take and pay attention to the very first of either the first video or the second one, over to my right, if you pay close, it's about like a second, maybe a second and a half shot. You'll see a blonde squatch turn and walk away.
On your first video?
It's either the first video or the second video on the
Okay.
GoPro. One
Yeah.
of those two. But you see a
Nikki.
black one. But
Oh,
you
I'm
see a black
sorry.
one. Yeah, but you'll see a black one follow me and everything,
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know if you saw Ryan's little message there. He was introducing
Yeah.
himself to
It
you.
just kept logging me off for some reason. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, hey Fred, check this out.
Yeah.
Blue Ridge Granny made a comment on the live chat.
Uh-oh.
They said if you slow the video down to 0.25, you can
Yeah.
see the figure on the right of Freddy's video.
You got that,
So,
don't you, Nikki? Hey, look at this. I got this morning. Look at it. Look at that ball.
Wow.
Look at that ball. That is one. I can take my finger and stick it right there, inside, between the ball and the toes. I've never seen one like that before, but it's got a small
Yeah.
instep here and a wide one.
Yep.
I've never seen one like that before.
That's still pretty good size, though.
now some tracks have the. Let's see.
Which way was it headed?
It was following me. It was walking the same way I was walking.
North, east, west? I mean,
Hell, I don't know. All I know is I'm walking up the trail, and because before I got to it, I turned my GoPro on, and
Right.
I always look at the ground when I walk in there because it's black soil and it's moist, and you can see anything that walks through there.
right, you got a good substrate.
So there's no footprints there. But I found them when I come back out, and it's either the black one or the blonde one.
See, some tracks kind of vary. Like this one here. All right, here's a side view.
Yeah.
You can see up here. All right, this big lump right here. That's the way the toe is sunk in right there. Of course, if we're plaster, this is it coming up from off the ground right here.
All right, that's his
Whereas
right toe.
that's the top view. This is the detail view.
Okay, now
So,
mine here is
so
the side view.
yeah.
That's one side. Flip around the other side.
I'm
And
getting
look
dirt
at it
and
right
dust.
there.
Yeah. You can see the toads in this one a little bit here.
Yeah. Well, I
All
mean,
right.
it was interesting.
Yeah, these are
But
a few I keep on hand right here
yeah,
nearby.
but
This
I
is my
tell
old
you,
one.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
this is. Yeah, I showed that one before.
but I tell you, it's a rush to have a rock thrown at you, and you can hear it go boom, 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 boom. I walked right into their bedroom this morning. I could hear them all moving. They were mad. But if you watch my videos, I posted 3 today.
Mm. Connie said if you listen very carefully, she said you could hear them following you too.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
um,
they're active right now, and that's good.
yeah.
I told
You
you
know,
that. I told you there's something about this month, man, and it's not just spring. We're missing something.
it's just that little string that hangs below their legs that
I
makes
don't.
the legs go
Hey,
crazy.
could be, could
I'm.
be.
I'm telling you, it's. Maybe. I don't know, but we're definitely missing something. And
Well,
Well,
when I go into an area and I have rocks thrown at me like the size of a basketball, and I can feel and hear the thump on the ground behind me, I think I pissed somebody off. Like, get the hell out of my area.
like their testosterone is up, or whatever they had, their hormone, whatever it is.
Well, it's a male. All
Right.
males do that.
Well, I did want to bring one thing up because you were talking about it. Daniel said something earlier about like people hoaxing and all that stuff. He was being accused, and
yes.
I actually have been accused of that 10,000 times. I choose to ignore them. I don't pay attention. And as far as like Steven and them, when they said certain things, I don't know what they sent Daniel, but it seemed like they were mad that I was actually talking with Daniel, basically trash talking. You know,
Hmm.
why do they associate and da 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 da, all that kind of stuff. But I don't pay attention to that. Like all they want to do is drag you down. You have to stay positive. You have to just stay focused on your research. Send everything and do what you got to do. I mean, if you have a goal, work towards your goal. You know, everybody's got different goals. So
Yeah. Hey, Nikki, my little Yankee finally got in touch with me.
Who?
My little Yankee from
Your
up
little
north.
Yankee. Oh,
Some
really?
girly Bigfooter.
Oh.
Little hussy.
I haven't heard from or seen her in ages.
Well, she said if I had been close enough, they would have her and Paul would have stopped by here and kidnapped me. Took me to Ohio.
Uh,
Well, hey,
yeah.
let me ask everybody something. Yeah, I get everyone's opinion on this. Well, I don't know. It's kind of like what we were talking about, what we started off talking about. All right, you got people calling people hoaxers, but let's kind of rewind and start from the source. Um, like for example, the influences that the negative people have on. Yes, I was right by calling the individual weak-minded in the first place, and I confronted the individual a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago on the situation. Totally denied it, lied. No, that's not the case whatsoever. But the videos that I shared on my timeline, there's post one, post two. In one of those videos, I believe it's post one, revealed what I said, what I was telling everybody. It was the truth. It's what he lied and denied about. It's I have it through a messenger that he denied it, lied about it, everything. Thing is, in the video, I know Fred saw it, and I don't know who else got to see it, but it said I was questioned about being affiliated with the ECBRO and blah blah blah, and because whoever I'm not quite sure who questioned him, but whoever questioned him was the one that was doing the slandering, and for some reason whatsoever, Tracy had to go along with it. I said, okay, well, I want my reputation to remain, so I'm going to go along with what you say because I want you to be my friend. Basically, that's what's going on. So I'm going to slander his name and throw him out the door, even though he's what helped got me started. He's the one who looked out for me. He's the one that bragged on me all the time. But I'm going to turn around and stab him in the back. But because he was influenced by someone else, I mean, what's your opinion on someone who gets questioned because a fellow hater turns a fellow member into a hater themselves? I mean, how do you guys see a situation like that? Anyone could start on that one.
My opinion would be, or my statement for that would be, what would be the best way to move your stature up? So if Daniel is seen by certain people out there as, you know, he's up here in the community, talks to a broad base of people, and this guy, whoever this guy is way down here.
Right.
What's the best way to get up there? By taking direct shots at the people that are higher up. So if his reputation's been going downhill or whatever it is, and he sees Daniel recently is doing good, and Fred's doing good, and Ryan or whoever, Stacy Brown is doing good, whoever it is, that's why these people come out and take shots at all these other people, because they just want to progress their own reputation.
Hmm.
That's my feeling
All right.
about it. Because 90% of it's lies anyway. But then when you call their bluff, what
Yeah, you're
happens?
right.
What happens when you call their bluff? They get pissed. They
Exactly.
throw a fit.
Um, I'm actually trying to read something right now that I'm going to try to. I'll probably end up screen sharing.
I know I could see it in
Uh,
your glasses.
um, see, see.
No,
Okay.
I just think it's, you know, we put in all our time, effort, money away from the family, podcasts, whatever it is, you know, it's, I don't know if it's jealousy or what, but I don't get it. Maybe because you don't do what he does, or he wants to do what you do. Yeah,
Well,
I have no idea. You're not going to please everybody, plain and simple.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people have their own methods and their own ways of doing things. I don't try to interfere with how they want to do things. That's why I always gave credit to where credit was due. I always do till this day. That's why if you go back and listen to any blog talk radio show I've ever been on, you could listen to every name I brought up in there. I spoke highly of them and I bragged about them because I like what they do. They bring a different method, or they bring a different side to the table to the team, and we all get ideas from each other. Tracy is full of good ideas. Tracy, I mean, has things he's working on now. I mean, I'm sure he's going to do real well in. But I think as far as I'm concerned with what he's doing, he's got to stop that because in a matter of time, for those who are following him with the lies that he's misleading everyone in, he's going to actually end up bringing himself down without him realizing that. And if he's watching right now, he better take this as, he better take this
Constructive.
critique, yeah, this critique and learn from it because I'm not trying to put him down, but everything I speak is the truth. And when I find something wrong, I have to investigate it. That's who I am. I mean, I will reveal everything necessary one way or another. I mean, like I told people before, I got people watching out for me. There's places I can't see, but I got eyes there. So, and by the way, everyone be on the lookout. Tracy's got a new group starting up, the new River Valley Night Ops group. So that's coming up very soon. Anyway, that's one of the things I learned. I have all kinds of information that was shared to me. I got a book I can write. I hear everything. Um, I don't know. What about you, Nikki? What do you think about the whole thing? I mean, it's kind of crazy, ain't it?
Okay, so I have been following what's been going on. Been
Yeah.
I went and I watched the video, your video. I only watched the first video you put out recently,
Okay.
the
Because
proof one. Okay, and then I
yeah.
went and I watched it and watched him talk. to me, Daniel, I did not feel that he was being disrespectful to you. To me, okay?
Right.
I didn't take it that way, but I don't have a relationship with Tracy like you do. Okay?
Right.
You built up a lot with him, and so I'm sure feelings got hurt and all of that. But as an
Oh yeah.
outsider,
I'm not gonna lie.
as a complete outsider, one of the horrible armchair enthusiasts, I did not see that he was putting you down, and I didn't see you really doing that to him either. And in my eyes, I think you guys should just part ways. Let him do his thing, and you do your thing. And if he says something that you take offense to, then you should be the bigger man and
Right.
do your thing. Whatever he does shouldn't affect you, shouldn't affect your group, shouldn't affect the evidence you're collecting, whether or not he thinks you have evidence or not.
Right.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. In the long run, none of it matters because the species has not come out to science. So it
Right.
really, all of this doesn't matter. It's just do your thing. Do your shows, do your thing, have your people back you up, and move on. To me, that's, I feel like I liked Tracy and I liked you, and I don't want to have to pick between one or the other, and I'm not.
Right.
I'm just going to watch him. I'm going to watch you. I'll support you. I'll support him. And because to me, right now, everybody could be called a hoaxer because nothing's been proven.
Right.
In essence, because I'm not a knower. I'm just a believer.
Right. I can
Now,
understand that.
those who are knowers come from a completely different place than I do.
Right.
Because, once I see one in front of me, then I'm going to change. My whole output is going to change.
Right.
But for right now, I can see where people are looking at, you're saying that's a Sasquatch, and I can see a tree. So,
Yeah.
it's going to be different. I think every person's going to have their own opinion on that whole matter. But it should just end. I think you have control over it
Oh
right
yeah.
now, to just say, okay, we're done with this. Let's move on and do our next, whatever we're going to do with ECBRO, and let him do his thing and just move on. It should just be,
Yeah.
just move on. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
But
and I absolutely agree.
that's just my
Uh,
take, you know.
yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you, 100%. And that's the thing. I thought everything was done and over with. Because it all started off with simple conversation where he actually messaged me from the beginning saying, "Hey, I'm just letting you know I'm gonna depart ways from the EC Bureau, and I don't want the name affiliated with my group." I said, "Okay." In a weird way, in a strange way, I said, "Okay, I can understand that." And but then I got to thinking about it, where he would just let me know he was taking the ECBRO name out of it. Didn't know he was blocking me from the group. I was like, well, that didn't make sense to me. I said, okay, which being on a Facebook group, it's no big deal. I got enough I administrate myself. And then when I started getting suspicious of a few things, or things weren't adding up completely, I was like, oh no, I've been through this before. But you know what? This is a different level here because I did not expect this from out of him. And after I replied, I commented back to him through Messenger and said something to him as far as someone's influenced you to do this. I said one of my haters got a hold of you and filled your head with some junk. I said I got haters out there. I've had others tell me and report to me that, hey, this guy is trying to talk trash about you and wants me to reveal you, blah blah blah. That's a and the person said, I know you're not, there's nothing to reveal. I mean, we're all human anyway. I mean, and I've shared it on podcasts before about one stupid thing that they made a big deal about is on my profile on my timeline, which everything's public. Um, talking about the information as far as the any kind of universities I was affiliated with, which I'm not. Now, I was working on planning towards something, but I never participated or joined any university. Um, One of the things I did, which were immature on my part, was when I put I'm a Bigfoot researcher. Sometimes when you put that information in, it asks for like a school, a university, like so forth. You know, everyone that's familiar with entering information on Facebook knows this. And I said, okay, well, back then, this is years ago. I was a little immature on that part, so I did put something in there, and okay, and someone questioned me about it, Mr. Kelly, and then it it was no big deal. I was like, okay, well, let me get rid of that, and I found a better way to word it. So right now I just have it as founder of the ECBRO. Um, but like I said, the suspicions kind of got stirred up, and I started looking into things. And I confronted the individual about, well, as far as someone influencing you and someone, got a hold of you, and then he totally denied it. He said no one said nothing to me, blah blah blah. But on one of the videos that I did post, it says it clearly. He speaks. It says everything that I was mentioning before, everything that was very clear and open. He said it himself out of his own mouth that he was questioned about being affiliated with the ECBRO. Of course, now, since then, he's actually added more to that as far as being, because we had Rick Dyer on the show and a couple different times. And, and Fred, Fred has too. And the thing is, being on a podcast show, we've had great discussions with Rick Dyer, regardless of who thinks what of him, et cetera, et cetera. Some people do not know how to associate, keep personal issues apart from the Bigfoot community, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with a lot of things.
Well,
So
they just make it way too personal.
exactly, they do.
This isn't for some people. They want to call it like a career. Dang.
Oh, Ryan got that.
They want to make it.
Ryan found the sound effects.
Yeah, he did.
I found them.
Wait till we put a crown on your head. So they just take it too seriously, and I know people want to have their research considered serious, but you got to have fun at it too. What's the use of doing it if you can't love what you're doing?
There's a fine line there. You're right. You're right. There's a fine line, and if you're too lackadaisical with it, they write you off like, oh, you're a scrub. It's all a joke to you. If you're too serious, people hate it, and then the people that said you're too lackadaisical throw the word science at you, like you're not doing this and you're not doing that. So there's no happy medium where, hey, let's just let people do what they have to do to get something proven. I mean, I'm a knower. I know, like you said, once you become that, I'm in a wild predicament here. I can't go back. I can't turn the time back. I can't change my mind. So I'm stuck. I'm a knower. There's nothing I can do. I just have to move forward and keep doing what I do, and so does Daniel and everybody else that actually knows they're real. Because all you're going to get is, like you're just a believer, like you stated, Nikki. That's good. That's healthy. That's, you're skeptical, but you're a believer. But I don't see you bashing people and going crazy like these other people do.
Oh yeah, no, there's so many bashers out there. And like I said before, that's why I stopped. I had a lot of positive feedback because of my opinions, but it just wasn't worth it, because I wasn't out there beating the woods, going out there every weekend like a lot of people were. Maybe, hopefully, one day I'll be able to do that, but right now it's all about family. So
Right.
I think people need to concentrate on their own shit, and stop worrying about everybody else.
Yeah.
And Paul Halsey makes a good statement right here. He messaged me, and he made the statement, and he's right. All researchers are one-sided, and you are either on their side or against it.
That's true.
Yeah. Now I tell you,
When you go against the grain, they do not like it.
Yeah. Now I tell you, I've been in this since 1981. As I told Tracy, let me get my headphones on before I say any more. I'm, I'm starting to hear echoes. Yeah, like I said, I've been in this since 1980. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, you damn Yankee.
Hey, those echoes might be the voices in his head.
That's something.
Yeah.
Love you,
No,
Fred.
yeah, I know. Anyway, like I was saying, I've been in this since 1981. I'm 4 years from being 60 years old. I know more than what most people that do what I do. You
But you
know,
still learn. You still learn.
exactly.
We all are.
Like I stated on the video, I got more experience than most people I know who's been out there squashing. But I'm not the best researcher, and I'm not the best at anything. I'm still learning. But the bottom
Mm.
line is, I know I between me and another fellow, we done been through holy heck and back because of this crap.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, you can ask Shane Bradbury. I made a few. Nikki, you remember a couple of videos I made when I was with Shane and them. You know, so yeah, I have had my hot spots at times. But in this situation, I am more baffled than anything. I
Mm.
mean, it's been over a year since I even talked to him,
Yep.
and I'm being associated with this, I'm being that and everything. I'm a hoaxer. No, I'm not a hoaxer because I tell people what you see on that video is exactly what I'm looking at.
Didn't I just tell you guys? My
Uh,
explanation. My explanation is if you're doing good and Daniel's doing good and Daniel's show and your show and everybody's getting more views and popular and talking to people and having all these great people on that share their experiences, they're hating.
I know.
You said you didn't even talk to this guy in a year. He's
Yeah.
upset for what reason? Why is he going to try to come attack you? You haven't talked to that
Well,
guy,
actually,
so
Well,
Fred, explain that part because you heard that video, Fred.
yeah. Let me go back to this part. A year and a half ago, we was going to have a town meeting down in Pulaski in Tracy's hometown. It was a town meeting. It was for people being charged. Because it was for a fundraiser and stuff like that. Well, Billy Willard showed up down there. Well, actually, Tracy.
Oh.
Yeah, Tracy got a hold of Billy and asked Billy if he was going to come. Billy said, "Yeah, who's going to be there?" And he said, "Daniel Benoit and Fred Caney." And as soon as he heard my name, he says, "I'm not coming." Tracy said, "Why?" He said, "I'm not going to be known to be hanging out with a known hoaxer." I'm like, "What?" I'm not a hoaxer. I don't know how to hoax, you know. And
it,
then,
it's
and then,
ridiculous.
and then he asked Daniel about me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember what Daniel said, but you know,
Me and that same gentleman had a falling out, and I told Fred this the other day.
yeah,
Why? It all started because I was, sticking up for Fred because I was questioning about why do I affiliate with Fred. I said he's my friend, he's my research partner. Fred was the first researcher I actually met in this area, and me and Fred. That's from there on out. Me and Fred were together, and that's where
yeah,
I started learning a lot from Fred about this area. So, and that's where I started off with. I said I'm not going to take someone's hearsay because they don't like him or they had a falling out for some oddball reason, you know. And then through the years, I had no problem with Fred, and Fred knows, just like any other researcher, anyone that's intelligent and has common sense and that's logical, and just because you might have a few things you may not agree with or with each other, doesn't mean you have to
hmm
stop affiliating with each other. Everyone's
yeah,
going to have disagreements.
yeah, because there's a lot of things that I do that Daniel don't agree with, and there's a lot of things that he does that I don't agree with. But we're, even though we have our two differences, we always come to the middle, which is we're both researchers. He He's got his method, I got my method. You know, so we take the two disagreements and put them together and make one that's agreeable, and that's how you do it. You know, because
Well,
everybody's out there doing the exact same thing. The only difference is some people say, "Oh, you got to use science. You got to use this. You got to do that." Hey, like me, I got a camcorder, auto recorder, and a GoPro. That's all I got. I don't have nothing
Now,
else.
and as
I,
far
I
as science goes, we technically, if you want to get technical, and I've heard this from several individuals, and not to mention the last person who actually said it, but we all know Bigfoot is real, without doubt. Because
yeah,
either we've done the right research or some of us actually seen for ourselves. But the thing is, we know science says no, it does not exist. So technically, there's no scientific right ways to research Bigfoot when science says it doesn't exist. It's just a matter of time and the matter of being at the right place at the right time to find the solid evidence.
well,
So, I mean,
what they want is for us to imply their idea of scientific methodology, which is their way of how we should collect samples, chain of custody, chain of command, what we do in the field. We have to come up with our theory, and we have to test our theory.
yep.
Get a hypothesis, do everything. Uh, that's how they want us to do it. Some of us do that. There's sometimes you can do that. There's sometimes you can't do that.
Right.
It's gotten ridiculous. You ever notice though they can't how do I say this? If there's an issue, they go talk to 400 other people before they come and talk to you. It's like they're in third grade. I'm breaking this down so easy for them. If there's a problem, come talk to me. Let's talk like
Exactly.
let's talk like men because I'm a grown ass man. Explain your issue. I'll explain what or I'll try to fill you in on the problem or any detail that you're lacking. Because you're making a decision based on somebody else's opinion or assumption of that said researcher, and that is totally inappropriate. But yet they're yelling out science. But it's like a double-edged sword. It's a cliche. It's not even. It's not
Well,
feasible.
and I could tell you one good example of someone questioning somebody because if somebody gets or hears something about you, let me throw this out there. All right, Mr. Dan Baker. He's a great friend of mine, and he's a well-respected individual, and he's awesome at what he does. Now, something got brought to his attention. Somebody questioned him or threw something towards him about me, but you know what? He was professional about the whole situation. He was smart about the situation. He was not immature about it by any means. He came to me about it. He presented what was brought to him, and I clearly what's the right word? I clearly gave the proper explanation. I explained to him what he wanted to know. I did not have nothing to hide. And he said, "Well, Daniel, thank you very much for clearing that up. I really appreciate that." And so and I really appreciate. There needs to be more people like Mr. Dan Baker. Dan Baker, I have a lot of respect for him for doing that. And like I said, he's a very well-respected man, and he's a great researcher, very knowledgeable. We need more people like him in the Bigfoot community.
That's
He's
true.
somebody that a lot of people could take a lot of um, um, lessons from.
But the
He's
thing
someone to
is,
really pay attention to as well.
and you're right. But you have to remember, we as researchers have to stop worrying about everybody else. Um, it's kind of like they are the armchair researchers, but I would rather be noticed by a scientist, by a university, by somebody really doing something, by somebody credible, by somebody that's out there willing to
Hmm.
accept my evidence. I'd rather have them pay attention to me than all these bottom feeders that just want to nitpick and bash your research. Um, they don't even realize what they're doing is how do I say it? Uh, bad news, it's news in itself. Even if it's not good news, bad news, your name still gets out there. So in a way, like Rick Dyer even said that they're promoting you, um, even though they don't know it. It's just gotten ridiculous. You know,
Yep.
I know you're tired of it. I'm tired of being called a hoaxer, and then uh, I know I'm not. So it's like, why fight it? And when they see that people are starting to realize, well, maybe this guy isn't hoaxing, he's doing what he needs to do, they have to attack it even more. They have to bring it back out of the mud. They have to try to bring you back in there. And you know what? I just laugh at it. You know, you have to laugh at it because they're not contributing a damn thing. They're not even
Right.
They're not even considered entertainment anymore. They're just,
Right.
I don't even know why they're there. If they're not,
Exactly.
you know, there should be a rule in the communities that if you're not contributing something positive, or if you cannot be positive toward other people, or if you cannot handle situations one-on-one, you shouldn't be allowed in the group. But instead, like I said, 10 of them will team up on you, and then you'll get kicked out of the group, like you're the bad person. And then they spread that out. Oh, he's not being a team player. He doesn't want to do what we want him to do. He's not going to be one of us and make fun of everybody else. Why would I want to do that? I'm my own person. I'm not even about that childish garbage.
Yeah, exactly. It's not professional. It's just drama starting, troublemaking.
Right.
It's not going nowhere. I
You're
mean,
you're not getting anywhere.
and the other reason to help, I want people to know what I have is real, and in doing so, when I have expeditions, and I let I announce them publicly, like I have
But
been
they'll
doing.
never come. They will never
But
come
but they don't.
because
Yeah.
they will never come for a few reasons. They'll tell you, well, I want a hotel room, or will you pay my flight there, or all these
Bullshit.
yes, all the bullshit, all the unreasonable bullshit, because they're scared that if they come there and something does happen, that they'll be proven wrong if they see something
Hmm.
or find a track. But then even if they do find it, if they did show up, oh, well, Daniel must have hoaxed that. That, you know what I mean? That's their answer for everything. It's almost like
Right.
they're, but 90% of them aren't believers as it is. I can't change their mind. Only a Sasquatch can change their mind. But they attack people, eh, I don't even know. And that's the thing. Like I keep
Yeah.
referring
Well,
to
I mean,
I keep referring to Bluff Creek. They throw out science, and they're doing the same thing everybody else is doing. Trail cameras, going in the woods. There's nothing scientific that they're doing. You know, they do what we do. Keep journals, do whatever. They can't even keep their receipts in order to show people, and you're going to yell at me. It's mind blowing. It. I don't even get it.
right. I mean, as far as the invite to others, I mean, yeah, I want others to come in. I even invite skeptics to come in. And like you made a good point about, yeah, well, okay, he could probably possibly hoax something there. No, with the activity that actually seriously does happen, there's no hoax in that. There's no hoax in that. I mean, the stuff I find, the evidence that I find, is mind blowing to me. I get excited every time I find it. I mean, if I had plaster for every other track I did find, I'll probably have a whole lot more than what I do have, because
You know,
there's a lot of evidence out there. And as far as inviting people, yeah, I want others to come, but at the same time, I do not want big crowds because I see the activity when it's just a small group. You know,
you know what I do if I
having too
invite
much people,
people?
you won't get the activity.
Right. If I
What's
invite
that?
a couple people or whatever it is, I will tell them. I'll draw out a map for them, and I'll say these are the 4 or 5 hot areas in the region that I've found evidence or audio or whatever it is. Feel free to pick wherever you want and go. I will let them do their own research in one of the areas. I'll still camp or whatever, or if I have to leave them there for the night to let them experience whatever they want. I do not have a problem with any of that because I don't want them. I don't want no bias in there. Like I don't want to sway them. So if I give them the 5 areas and a little map drawn out, and they head to that area and they have experiences, I could sit at a campfire for all I care, because I know what's real. So when they do get the evidence, they can't say I hoaxed anything because I don't even know what area they chose. You know, maybe they won't
Right.
even choose one of the 5 areas, but I'm telling you, that's what it comes down to. So you try to take all that out of the equation, and that's what I do. I don't. There's no reason to. It pisses me off, is what it does. But if you get pissed off and they see it, then it's just it's another way for them to latch onto you. Steve.
Dude,
All
What's
right.
up?
Good to have you on, buddy.
Man, my
Have
blood
you been
pressure's
listening?
gone. I just walked in the door and started reading things. My blood pressure's gone above my head.
Started reading things.
Yeah, I was reading comments.
What you read?
Oh, okay.
I'll leave it at that. Leave it at that. I was just reading some comments.
I've been reading my whole life.
Oh, I don't know how to read. I just look at pictures.
No, it's my last name. You know.
Ah, yeah, well, that went over my head too.
Try to make you laugh, brother.
It's all good. It's all
Well,
good.
Steve, are you familiar with everything that's been going on lately, as far as everything that we've been discussing and everything on here?
I just got home. I don't know what y'all been talking about. Like I said, the only thing I've been doing is just reading.
Oh, okay. Shoot, I don't even know. We've been going into a lot of pretty in-depth stuff. Brian's actually been saying some great stuff too here. Fred, you actually been quiet about it all. You have anything to add to it? Where'd Fred go? Fred just up and disappeared.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually trying to keep up with the live chat because they're actually asking questions on there. I've been replying because
No,
I was just talking.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just talking about like inviting people to expeditions and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I said something on the live chat. And people ask, they want to know how much it is
Put them
to
out there
go.
and see it for themselves, and that way they know it's real.
Right, and the thing is, well, they just ask how much, and it's free. I don't charge for expeditions. I mean, it's going to cost you enough just to get there and for your own supplies and everything.
I tell
This is ECBRO, not EFRO.
Exactly.
right. Exactly.
Exactly. Amen. Yes. Thank you for clearing that up, Steve, because I feel that we're actually. It's funny that you actually. You know what? Now that I think about it, it's funny that you say that, Steve, because I think a lot of people get the ECBRO actually seriously mixed up with the BFRO. I've seen that before. I actually have. Now that you actually say something, bring that up, but that's crazy though.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to charge for stuff like that. It's like back to the Bluff Creek project.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like I stated before, if you look on my Facebook event that I created for the expedition, and I will explain this part right here. If you read into the details, the members, this is how I have it said now. Members are free. Non-members, I was going to charge a $150 fee for a very good reason. All right, and the thing is, if I invite you, it's free anyway if I invite you. But the thing is, and I think this is a good reason and good point. I don't know. You guys should share your opinion on this. But if somebody wanted to come and plan on hoaxing, because that's part of why I was charging that $150 fee. If they're serious, they would actually pay that fee. If a hoaxer was planning on coming, they wouldn't want to bother paying $150. Why pay $150, travel all the way up here or where they might be coming from, just to throw a hoax? There, I mean, they're either that desperate, to make somebody look bad, but that's part of the reason I was going to charge a fee on that. But any expeditions I've had in the past, I never charged nobody. But I mean, would something like that be considered a possible good idea, though?
My opinion on it, before Steve goes, it is a good idea because I see where you're coming from. I do not believe in charging people. What I would say is if the outsiders want to come, you charge them the $150, but have something that they could regain. Uh, Let it be a raffle, or let it be some T-shirts, or let it be a piece of equipment they could win. You hold a raffle. You do something so they feel that it was worth it. I mean, the expedition itself is worth it, but you always want to give back. You don't want to make it like I'm just making all this money. If 10 people come, and that's what, 12, 13, $1,500, whatever. You could purchase a nice piece of equipment and raffle it off, or have 2 winners, or whatever it is, maybe or something like a first, second, third place for whoever finds the best evidence or catches, just something to mix it up.
All right.
Right, right.
When I was with I'm a member of the Virginia Jeep Off Road, and when we have fundraisers, we'll have, like the last one we had was in Culpeper. What we did was, everybody paid $10 a piece to get in, and then we had a dinner and everything, and then we had a raffle. Fourth prize was a T-shirt. Uh, Third prize was a Virginia Off-Road sticker. Then we had a CB, and then the main, then we had for first prize we had a Warren winch, you know,
Mm.
and raffle and everything, So people will win stuff like that, and it was worth it to go up there to see that, even though the money was for like muscular dystrophy for kids or something like that. But we paid to get in. We got the free eats. But the raffle we had was for and they had nice prizes. And that's where like say like third prize, second prize, and first prize. On numbers or stuff like that. And it works out great.
Yeah, you can pick a cause like cancer or breast cancer or whatever it is, and donate some of that back, or children, or whatever.
Yeah, because bikers do it all the time. Jeepers do it. I'm a Jeeple. I'm a Jeep people, so we call us Jeeples. Because we have our off-road conferences and everything like that. And it's fun, and it helps other people make aware of like cancer or breast cancer or muscular dystrophy or something like that. And people say, well, hell, this is worth it going to that. Look at you win and everything.
Right.
Look at that stogie, man. Look at that. He's smoking that West Virginia. He's smoking that West Virginia wild weed.
Hey, it keeps the mosquitoes away.
I can believe it.
Hey, you want my 2 cents on this?
Look at that.
Yeah,
You
yes,
want
please
my
do.
2 cents on this?
Yes, sir.
If I had to pay $150 to go on an expedition, I'd never be able to go.
Right.
It wouldn't happen. And that's just. But if the average person can afford it, it's great. But if you got people over 65 or disabled that are on a budget, then I would definitely try to work something to cut them a deal. Because there's people that want to go out that can't. You know what I mean? They just can't.
Because I'm 100% disabled, man, and I'm on
So
a
am I.
budget. So yeah, I know what you're coming through. It's rough as crap.
Well, I could say this part, and in this, just by what I'm about to say, for those who know, I have done fundraisers in the past, and like I said, I've had fundraisers, and shirts got sold, and people got their shirts, which I'm happy though, but there was no profit made because it didn't reach the actual goal that it needed to get. But on the other hand, with my income, people are like, oh, I can see why he's after money, blah blah blah. You know, I get paid every 2 weeks. I will not mention my hourly rate, but every 2 weeks because of child support on my youngest child. And I'm a single father. I have custody of my oldest daughter, but pay child support on the youngest. I only bring home a little over $400 every 2 weeks. I will state that, and that's a true fact. But you know what? I've learned to survive through it. You know, I still have to pay rent, and I got my own bills here to pay. You know, so um, so things are rough on me too. You know, I mean, then sometimes every now and then, miscellaneous things pop up. I'm like, oh crap. You know, it puts me in a tight bind. you know, so yeah, I think I understand everyone's struggles and everything, but like I said, the $150, that was just just the more or less to prevent hoaxing, because I do not want that. I want people to see the real, honest truth that what I'm finding out there is there. Fred knows my area. Fred could tell you we've experienced things together out there.
Oh yeah.
Back in 2013.
Yeah.
3 years ago we've had some experiences together. Actually, just a year ago we've had some experiences out there together. So as far as vocalizations, tree knocks, I mean things that happen out there around us. And when we go out there, a lot of times we meet up, just me and him planning on going together. We don't tell people when we go all the time. We don't tell people where we go. It's either one or the other area. His area or my area, and my area connects into West Virginia. That's all I'm saying. But so yeah, it's we know for a fact that what we experience is the things we see, hear, find, they're legit. They're the real deal. They're not. No one's hoaxing. No one's doing what we're finding and hearing and seeing. There's no. I mean, and we don't jump on conclusions. We do take the time to analyze or we examine our findings. Like could this be this? Like back in 2014, we've had an encounter. Tracy Arnold was a part of that encounter. When we got back to camp, we tried to debunk the whole situation. I mean, it was very exciting for everybody. Cliff Stanley got that encounter on film, but the subjects weren't picked up on it because it was dark. All our headlights are shining over there, but nothing was seen. But you will see all our activity, all our silly behavior, trying to get attention, trying to get responses from them. But
did you know that she got married, but not to him?
Oh, I did not know that. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. She dumped him and got another guy and got married. Now she's happy. But she is a member of the Vermont Bigfoot group now, and she's always sending me photographs of structures, footprints, and even one right across the road from where they live at, a Squatch standing on a hill.
Right.
I tried to debunk it. I could not debunk it. She gave me the scenario and everything, and she just happened to step aside and smoke a cigarette, and there it was standing there about 300 yards, about 200 yards, looking at him. So she's doing pretty good there and everything. Well, people, it's like wrestling. It's a soap opera for men. The Bigfoot world is a soap opera, for dedicated, serious researchers, But you got them few little oddballs in there that like to mix, that like to throw their crap in the bowl and try to mix it in there, and it does not show. You got like Richter Riolo, he's got his little temper tantrum show he does, Good show, I grant you.
Because be careful, because he is watching.
That's fine. I don't care, I mean, he has his little temper tantrum show, and and someone else down the road might have another temper tantrum show, because there's something about this guy that they don't agree with, or something about that guy they don't agree with. It says, well, if you're friends with Rick Dyer, I don't want to have anything to do with you because he's a hoaxer. Just because he's a hoaxer don't mean that you're a hoaxer.
Right. Exactly.
And they're like, well, okay, my point made,
Yeah, I'm a United Methodist. That don't mean that you're Catholic. Somebody else could be an atheist. I'm still friends with you.
Exactly.
Right. That's a good point.
And like I'm told, well, you eventually see the video I sent to Tracy.
I saw it.
Yeah, and do you agree with it? Do you agree with it?
100%, but you're a lot nicer than I am.
You're a lot nicer than he is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I
Well,
haven't talked to, I
Fred's
haven't
trying to give
talked,
him a benefit of the doubt, though. Trying to give him a chance to explain that.
Hey, you know what? David Koresh had followers, and look where they wound up in Waco. They all got killed, and so did that other guy with the hell bop. Everybody followed this guy, thought he was the best thing, and they all wound up dead.
yeah,
Follow who you want to follow, but you don't know where you're being led.
yeah. But
You know,
Exactly.
the funny thing is, I haven't talked to Tracy in over a year. And I never knew anything that was going on until the video was sent to me. And I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on here? So I get my dandruff up and I make a video and I send it to him. Now, like I said, if he's got the stones, get back in touch with me. Let's talk. Let him explain himself. I want to hear from Sam too.
Now we got a lot of viewers. A majority of the time, he has been watching. I don't know if he's watching tonight. They don't
Who?
tell me who you're talking about,
Oh, okay.
Tracy. But the thing is, they don't tell me who the viewers are. I just
Yeah,
just tells you the amount of viewers you got going on. So
yeah, I'm not mad at him or anything. I just want to know what his reason was for saying what he did about me. That's all I
yeah.
want to know. I don't care, if he wants to go with the BFRO, well, more power to him, and that's his neck.
Mm.
That's all I
Everyone who's experienced with them or have who've had dealings with them, you think they would admonish him on that part. Because
Yeah,
I know somebody who saw that video that was a former member of them who was paid over $300 to attend one of their expeditions, but got screwed out of that $300 something when he couldn't attend. So and he sees what Tracy's saying and doing. You think he would say something because he's just one of the few that actually had their stories to share with me about what happened with them. They take evidence and they deny you credit, and all that crap.
My
You know,
my response to all that is you cannot please everybody. You talk with critics. You have critics and skeptics that are your friend. You have believers and knowers. You have people in the entertainment. You have the people that want you to be a basher like them. You can't please everybody, so be yourself. You
okay.
you have to be yourself no matter what.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
through it all.
right,
yeah. Now I'm gonna tell all y'all something. Like I said, I've been
right.
doing this. I've been doing it since 1981. Okay, and I can tell you anybody for a fact when people say, "Well, Daniel's this, Daniel's that," or I can tell you for a fact that I know his area. I know the tracks that he's getting. He is not hoaxing them tracks. Like, good example, he come back from the store. He saw tracks going across the road. It was not bear. I could look at that and tell it's not bear. Whatever it was bipedal and barefooted. And at that time of the year, there ain't gonna be no idiot out there because George Washington National Forest is a huge place, and my area is right there at the Blue Ridge
Yeah,
Parkway. Daniel's area runs into West Virginia, so he's got a mass of national forest that people has never been before. If they, you got people from like say New York, Vermont, Maine. They come down here to the mountains, and they're like, well, I saw his video, that it looked like he hoaxed that footprint. There's no way you could do it. It's like in my area, I don't find that many
yep.
footprints, but when I do, they're either little ones or big ones. And a lot of people saying, he's coming up with too many footprints too quick. Well, actually, there's a reason for that because there are that many squatches over there, and they're down low. They're down low because of the water source. It's dry on top, wet at the bottom. All the food source is at the bottom. So that's where you're going to find your squatches. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. People have got to realize, just because he comes up with more footprints than most people, he's not hoaxing. I can tell you that for a fact. I know his area. I know what squatches are in that area. I know the family
Right.
group. I know the family group that they videoed that night. I've seen them hundreds of times. So I knew they was going to be over there. We heard a baby cry. Right before we heard the baby cry, Daniel got a glimpse of a black cat crossing the road below us. Then we heard the baby cry. I took the parabologist, held it up. Would you believe it? Right behind that baby cry, I heard trees being snapped. Not little limbs, big trees popping. I heard that. We heard a barred owl. Well, then we heard two more behind it, but the two more behind it was not a barred owl. It was two squashes. So people's got to realize, just because someone comes up with a lot of information and a lot of evidence out of his area doesn't mean it's a hoax. The people who's saying that they're hoaxing and stuff like that need to get off their ass. If they think that someone's a hoaxer, well, go to that person's area and prove them wrong. Till then, shut your mouth and start learning.
It's like nobody
And
was
I
raised.
could,
They weren't raised with any respect. I feel half these people were raised in a barn because they respect nothing. And if you have an issue, go directly to that person and ask them straight up. That's what it is. And if they can't do that, I can't give them any respect. They just
Yeah,
want to give their opinion like their opinion matters.
yeah. Because when I first, when I first started into Squatch, people were trashing me, and I was getting pissed off. But then one day I talked to a friend of mine, and he's the one I've been talking to on here too. And he says, "You gonna have that shit." So I've learned to let people run their mouth. It's not bothering me. All they're doing is try to make themselves look big by belittling someone else. So I'm to the point now, someone rags me, I don't care. Have fun. I know what I
yep.
do, and I know it's real. Period. So, la-di-da.
I rag them
Yeah.
back.
I mean, this,
That's what I do. I just bust their balls right back. I'm
yep.
I'm not
I
that type of
mean,
person. I'm not like them. So they just want to point out, oh my God, he's this and he's that. They don't even know you. They don't even know me. They do not know us. They don't. Half the people don't even know each other. They just say what they want to say, and it's crazy because they don't even know the real you. They've never been in the woods with you. They've never experienced anything with you. They're just going on by what they see or what they can piece together, and it's all their opinion.
yep.
So the way I see it now, anybody in the Bigfoot world can rag me. They can call me what they want, because I tell them this is the only thing I tell them. What you're looking at on my video is what I'm looking at. That's it.
I'm surprised nobody started a straight hoaxer community. I mean, I'm not
Oh,
saying anything. Yeah, I'm not saying anything bad, but like
We'll get
that's
to
all.
Kelly.
they got hooks.
We'll get to Kelly
They
boys.
got groups out there.
They're good. They're good at it.
Well, I'm not calling out any names, but certain people have. Admittedly, Rick Dyer straight up said I hoaxed, whatever it is. But that's what everybody throws out there. This whole hoaxing situation. Well, why don't they have a hoax group? That's what it is. But not trying to catch hoaxers, but hoaxers talking amongst hoaxers. That's what they need.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of that word. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of listening to it.
Yeah.
For the people that want to bash, why don't they ever present anything good? Nothing. I could
Yep.
see if they had something where it was like, oh, hey, we found Sasquatch, or here's our video. But no, it's always something else. Then they twist your words, or they'll twist your photos. I shared 2 photos. One was a skier, like a before or after photo, and the alleged photo of a Sasquatch. And they picked it apart, and there was only like 2 people that did. Phil Poling did a video on it, which he was like, I don't know, basically. I can't really tell what I'm seeing. But like Darren Lee, he picked it apart and said it was a skier. And I'm like, I don't even know how he fathomed that. But that's crazy. So I showed the skier, but people like Richard Allen just took the photo and said, here, this is what Ryan Reading is saying is a Sasquatch, and he used the skier photo. And it's like, are you really like that illiterate that you're just going to blog and write something like that? I don't have the time for that. I laugh. I smile.
The other question is, skiers don't ski on flat ground. They go downhill, and it looks like, from the judgment on my view on the picture, the subject was walking on flat ground into the wood line. That's what I recall seeing from that picture.
Right, I do, and see what I didn't share. We had found when Steve Culls was going to come out, until he had a bunch of things going on with a family member pass away, and sorry about all that. I told him his schedule is busy, so I have to wait. They still want to come out, he said. So when he gets a hold of me during the summer, they can definitely do that. But while we were going through the footage, we found 3 other photos where there's a photo of it coming down the trail, breaking off into the woods, and then another photo of it going into the woods with a huge stride length. So if it is a skier and they want to say it's a skier is not going to blatantly go off into the brush or into the pines, and if there's a trail and that's what they're saying, that's what the skier is going to use. A skier is not going to turn blatantly and go take a 90 and go straight off in the brush and then like 5-6 minutes later reemerge walking, coming out or into that section of woods. That is the main reason I want them to come and do their recreation, so they can get a height comparison. Once they do that, and they will see that it is out of, I will guarantee that they see it is out of the realm of a person, which I'm going to say minimum 7 foot or greater. You don't really find 7 foot people, 7'5". I'll say 7'5". I know it's 7'5" or bigger, so I'll say it's out of the realm of that. But once they do that, then they can be baffled as to what it is. Let the research speak for itself.
Yeah. Hold on one second here. Yeah, I'm just going to do a screen share I shared earlier just to show the comments that were being said. Yeah.
I just got a message.
This is some of the trash.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah,
I was just saying this is one of the...
I didn't know. She doesn't know if she was getting on or...
Oh, okay. I sent a link to the group link. So...
I can't message her right now because they blocked me, remember? So if somebody wants to text her.
Yeah.
Either way.
But yeah, this is William Francis added to his name apparently. William Little Bear Francis. Everyone knows him just as William Francis. Everyone, there's a lot of people actually, he was declared being a hoaxer himself, and with the numerous people because for the money scams that he was putting out there. And I was honest with him, and that's why, me and him had a big disagreement. So this is the trash he's speaking, along with what Tracy had to say in his video. And for those who are viewing, it says, Tracy, if this is the reason why the SRPO severed ties with the ECBRO and Daniel, everything you have said in this video about the ECBRO and Daniel is 100% true and accurate. Nothing about their research is solid. Nothing about it is true. And then I didn't get to click on whatever the rest of it was. So. Of course, Sam Deloach, this explains why he unfriended me. He went along with the misleds or whatever. He claims well said. So that's why we don't hear from Sam Deloach no more. Sam Deloach used to be, we used to invite him openly on here. Of course, he's a follower. He's not a leader. The whole group that was posted in is a group of followers. None of them are leaders, because if they were leaders, they would be able to stand on their own and have their own balls. Instead they're being pulled around by strings. So, they're being led around, like puppets on a string. They don't know how to have they don't have to have their own, So.
Right. No, exactly. I was actually kicked out of a group this week. Dr. Johnson's group. What is it? Whatever that is, I can't remember. Oh, Team Squatchin'. Some of the people I used to like to talk to because they're nice, they're friendly, they're not like the bashers, they're just cool people, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I shared the truth about Steven Strufer and how they don't, how they charge people and what they do and how crooked they are and what it's boiled down to. I don't care. I speak my mind. I'm not out here to please people. I'm not out here to play their game. I don't want anybody to like me. I don't care. They don't get that. So I posted in there about what Steven was saying, and oh, it's a typo, and Mr. Steven Strufer doesn't make typos. He's Mr. Perfect. He that's what he claims to be. So when I shared that he stated that what's his name, Jamie Wayne, takes money or puts it in his pocket or whatever that post was, and I said, well, you know what? Since it's a typo, I want you to provide receipts to me. I want you to show me all the money you've taken in on donations, and I want you to show me what you've spent on batteries and everything else for the last 3 years in trail cameras, and I want you to show not just me, but everybody. So can you please post that? Actual receipts, actual accounts, not fake accounts that you made, not none of that. And then somebody commented, well, they get paid for their time and labor to clear trails on state land or whatever. How ridiculous is that? I mean, are you even hearing yourself think? First, you can't even clear trails on state land. You're not supposed to. Then you're getting paid for your time like labor because you're searching for Sasquatch. I mean, I run anywhere between 6 and 12 cameras as it is. I don't ask people to give me money. The only time I'd ask for money is if I wanted to do a documentary and things like that. That is where it's called for. You don't say I need donations and I want to make money. That's what this is all boiled down to. I want to effing get rich off of Sasquatch. That and when you will, when I'll get rich is when I have a body on the ground and I bring it for science to here it is, there it is, I proved it to you. Not that I want to kill one, not that I don't want to kill one, but my belief is we do have to have one out there to prove it. I mean, it comes down to that. If it's self-defense, it's self-defense, whatever it happens to be. But I'm in this to prove it. Not for anybody else. I want to prove it for my family, for my friends, for the people that trust me, just so I can show it. And if you do get that, it's like a direct slap in the face to every single one of them. Then they come knocking at your door and they're drooling because they want what you have, and you just laugh and turn away because they were disrespectful to begin with.
Right.
They don't even hunt. Half these people aren't even hunters. They don't even understand the outdoors. They don't know how to track. They don't know what tracks are what. They just read out of books and say, I know everything. How the hell is that even possible?
Right.
It's just a crock of shit, in my opinion.
When did this get here? Oh, that's April 22nd. Okay.
It's a long time ago, Fred. You're behind.
I'm just seeing this stuff for the first time.
I didn't even see none of it, really. Steven Strufer and them turned me in, or whoever. I'm not allowed to post for 5-6 days, whatever. I'm in jail.
Ha 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 ha. Join the club. I've been there myself. Over a stupid comment I made.
This is kind of taking it back from the beginning a little bit. All right. This is where he messaged me. All right, hold on. I'm getting feedback from someone. All right. On his end, he says, I had to break all away, brother, and make changes in the group. I hope you understand. It's not you, but I'm going in a new direction. This is my response. I said, I understand taking the name of the ECBRO out of it. Why remove me altogether and block me? To have someone influence you to the point of that, wow. My haters are getting their way. I have had many try to go after my other friends and have them do the same, but they kept me because they don't fear for their reputation over someone with a fake profile. Then, then underneath of that, right here, it says, "I never thought I expect this from you, Tracy. I honestly feel betrayed. I honestly feel that." Well, he said, "I'm sorry you see it that way, but it's not being betrayed. I had to go this way. I thought you understand. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you as a friend, and there's something changing in the future for me." With all that being said, then he says, he couldn't be man enough to tell me the truth. But everyone saw his videos on my timeline. There's two posts, post one, post two. If you see the one video, it reveals that all this was a lie. So I had to share that and get that out in the open. I mean, that's what I had to make sure everyone understood, that I wasn't lying. I wasn't covering nothing up. I'm revealing the truth. That's what I do. Maybe I'm too good at it. I'm sorry, but but
I,
I don't know.
I told you
I'm
the
an
only,
investigator.
the only thing you can do is be you. Um, don't 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 stray from being yourself, because
Right,
that's what they want. If they get you
right.
outside of your element to argue with them, to fight with them, it takes away from your research. Then you get mad during your research. Um, I believe, you want my honest opinion? I'm going to give it to you right now. They
Absolutely.
they do what they do to drive people to hoax. Let me explain. If they are ragging you and pissing you off and doing everything, and you're out there spending your time, I can see some of these people getting so pissed off and frustrated if they don't have evidence, that they hoax the evidence just to show these people. And I can see it, like, in all these communities. Somebody out there, a female, will post something and
Hmm.
they rag her so bad. you know it's I don't even understand it. I don't know where they come from, or who made them God. mm, but it's gotten ridiculous.
Yeah.
I invited Steven Strufer, Jamie Wang, Richard Allen, Darren Lee, Russ Mock, Randy
Well,
Filovic. All the naysayers, everybody in a coalition. I said, come on up to New York. I'll hold a camp out. Hell, I'll buy the food. You guys drink beer. I'll buy your beer. I don't drink, but I'll buy your beer. We can have a good time, share stories. Go out. I'll let you do your own research. You want to borrow my equipment? You can borrow my equipment if you don't have it. And the
now,
response I got, they wanted hotel rooms. They wanted flights paid for. Come on. Seriously?
yeah, now, in the past, me and Steven, I believe, there was miscommunication, misunderstanding. And he may not agree with what I do or say. That's fine. But me and him, we've actually, not long ago, we've actually spoken on, in terms of where I think we understand each other, or we have a mutual agreement. We're cool between each other. I actually invited him to come on a podcast and talk, but he will not do it with other certain individuals.
With
That
myself.
are not. Well, no, he didn't mention you. I know who he's talking about, and they're not on the panel right now. So people that you know very well, Brian. Excuse me, Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our we've had them both on the podcast before together.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not rude, and I'm not that type of person. I could actually talk to Steven. That's the thing.
yeah,
But either he's very bright individual, or he's not bright at all and tries to be.
yeah,
Um, so I can't really tell. I can't really read him, because he's like this little. I don't call people names, but other people have called him a bug. That's the way he looks. It's not my business. I don't care. I don't care what you look like. Just don't bash me for something, because you're going to get it right back. I'm going to give it right back to you. I'm not going to lay down. I'm not going to sit there. I take it. I laugh, but don't get mad when I give it back to you. And when I ask for receipts and proof and things like that, I'd love to do a podcast with Jamie or Steven, but I don't think I'd get any answers. I'd love him to come on the podcast and share all the receipts that they have.
Yeah, I mean, I think he seems like he's kind of quiet. I mean, even when through a message, he was kind of, I don't know. I don't know how he's kind of somewhat one of those people kind of hard to take or understand. But, I mean, just through a message, he seems kind of quiet.
Right, to the outside world. But get in the coalition or get in one of them other groups, and he'll bash the hell out of you with all his other people. It's like their secret.
Trust me, I know those groups all too well. I've left them 2-3 years ago. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So
actually,
and
that's why I asked you the first question I asked you before we even started talking a long time ago, because that's where it came. That's where it came out of when everybody was saying that.
Yep.
At the time,
well, keep in mind. Yeah, and you were talking about, there should be a hoaxer community. Well, I mean, there's actually groups out there that actually have their forums just to throw people in there as hoaxers. And and post their name and all over the place, and they actually give a description why they call them hoaxers. My name was in one of them.
They put me in all. They put me in all of them. That every time I turn around, they call me a hoaxer. I don't got the time for that shit. I spend too much damn money and too much hard time. I mean, and I help people out, like real people, like Steve. I sent him a recorder. People want to do research and they can't afford it. If I have something extra, I'm helping you out because I like you, because you're real. You're a real damn person. You talk, you share, you're honest. You're not bullshitting. That's what I'm about.
Y'all, look, I'm on my phone. Y'all want to see where I live? Look behind me. There you go. There's where I live. I'm in the mountains. I've got these things in my backyard. This ain't no freaking joke.
Hey, I'm waiting for that. Hey, I'm waiting for that at half gallon you're supposed to send me.
Yeah, okay. Okay. When I come down to meet you one day, I will bring some with me. But you know what? It's just like a damn playground. It's just like a playground, and you got the jungle gym in the playground. You start climbing up, and the little bastard on top can't stand that you're going higher than him, and he's got to knock you down or do something to make you so you can't climb above him. And that's what this community is full of, a bunch of little punk-ass bastards that ain't got the balls enough to be professional.
Truth.
Amen.
True spoken.
Amen. Sad.
And when you try to be professional, they knock you back down. They want to knock you back down. They're mad at what you're getting. Instead of saying, hey, bro, that could be a possible, can I come check that out? Or can you give me a backstory? Or what's up with that? Let's talk. Or, hey, I'm an honest researcher. I want to get with you because I'd like to come check out where that photo was possibly taken. So in my mind, I can say it either is or it either isn't. But they don't want to do that. They just, oh my God, it's so, like you said, they're ridiculous.
Oh, by the way, the audience wanted to applaud before for what you said, Steve. The sound effects weren't up, but here they are.
There you go.
It's truth, man. It really is. It's like they hate the truth. They really do.
Oh man, let me see. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to the live chat here. Hold on. So I was having messages on the let's see. Okay. Let's see from the group.
WNC Blue Ridge Granny says, from that group to be called a hoaxer, you should be considered. It should be considered a badge of honor.
Yeah, I just now read that myself. And then Paul Halsey says, I send stuff to researchers as well, but it's only to help the cause, not my ego. The quality of the researcher finds the research. Oh yeah, he's a very honest, outspoken guy.
The quality of
And
research defines the researcher from Paul Halsley. Poor
Yeah,
quality, poor
that's really
quality
saying
means
something
poor
because I don't
research.
even like myself.
What?
Paul Huxley, you're like the Yoda of the Bigfoot community, you know, among a few
Yeah,
others, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's the Bigfoot guru.
Yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah. Paul's my mentor. He's my mentor. He's my brother.
Kelly Shaw just commented and stated that I am dumbfounded that people care to humor the coalition group. Their leader, Steven Strufer, and his sidekick, Jamie Wayne, already admitted discussing a hoax with Mitchell Wilson and Dr. J's research area.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that earlier this year. From it was presented on one of the After Hour show. So
Right. You know, they're
yeah,
garbage. They will. I asked for their receipts and I called them out on it, and they panicked, and all they want to do is just bash you. I don't have time to hoax. I don't have time for that shit. Straightforward.
hmm
I do what I do. I wouldn't be partnered with a university sending in samples, doing what I'm doing. I don't have time for that. I'm
right,
focused. And they try to break your focus, and it's not going to happen.
right.
I don't care what they do or what they say, but when I get that proof, or one of us get that proof, or have that sample or that definitive answer, they can kiss my ass.
Amen.
You mean your Yankee ass?
My Yankee ass. Hey,
Because down here's down south, you can kiss my rebel ass.
I don't care where you're from. If you're an honest guy, if you're a real researcher, if you're doing what you gotta do, and that's the thing. Like, I've formed opinions about people that I shouldn't have. Like, but I never said it to anybody. I had formed opinions on Daniel. I had formed opinions on Kelly Shaw. I had all these opinions because of what other people were saying. And then I backed away and said, wait a minute, I can't do that because I don't even know these guys. And I started watching some of their research. It's decent. You can tell who's really making the effort. You could tell
hmm
who's being armchair researcher. You can see who's being an asshole. Uh, you can break all that down.
Okay, what do you see when you see my videos and what I do? What do you see? What do you see?
My opinion in the beginning, before I even met you, um, I had watched probably, I don't know, 3 or 4. I don't know how to say this. It was good. It was good, but it was like you weren't explaining enough. You weren't giving like a backstory. What happens is, but what I know now is you're a knower. So I had to take it as, okay, well, he knows, so he's instead of teaching or explaining, you were more like, this is what it is. So it's either take it or leave it at that because you know what it is. So it would have been nice if you explained a lot more things in all your videos. If somebody doesn't follow you all the time and you're breaking things down like a knower would,
Okay, okay, like I try to like when I do my structures, I explain the structures, what they mean. But that's far as I can go because I'm still learning myself on the structure, so I can only do but so much. Now, if I knew more, I would go into depth, but I can't because I don't know any more than what I know already.
I do know that you're honest. I know that. If anybody in this group that I had, if I thought anybody was being dishonest, I wouldn't even hang out here because there's no reason to. When we when Daniel does do big shows or you do big shows, I like to read our guests. I like to see their research. I like to research them. I like to pay attention to what they're doing. Um, there's a lot of times if somebody is a hoaxer and they're just trying to put a front on, you could pick it right out of the box. Uh, if you've had encounters and you've seen them and you know Sasquatch is real, you should be able to pick a hoaxer out of a lineup that quick. There's things that'll set off red flags. There's things that you'll notice, inconsistencies in their story, speech, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't condone hoaxing. I don't see no point in it.
Right. So you're saying what I need to do is to slow down and go below where I normally go and explain to like beginners and stuff.
Right, because if nobody,
Oh, okay.
if somebody doesn't know you, they're going to be like, this guy's a freaking whack job because I have no idea what the hell he's even talking about, what's going on. He's like, you know what I mean? Make it more interesting. Say, okay, folks,
Okay.
this is my research area. This, even if it's every video, get like a little thing. You know, I'm Fred Canny. This is what I do. This is my research. I'm walking you in. Today I'm going to talk about some structures, a little bit more educational type thing. You know,
Oh, I got videos like that. You just
even
ain't been through them all.
right. Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. So nobody can go through them all unless they sit there and. But if you have that repetitive over and over, people will get to know you. And then they'll say, oh, okay, well, I like his videos because he explains things more. Or, you know what I mean? That's just my take
Well,
on.
I'll tell you what I might end up doing here. I might at the first of the month, might take a trip over to Steve's place, get him to teach me about squatches in his neck of the woods.
Come on
That's
up
cool.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then,
After the end of this month,
then
yeah,
I'll go
after
to
this month, we'll definitely try to do that.
yeah. Then I'm planning on going to
Yeah.
Kentucky.
You know,
That's,
I'm gonna say
that's,
something, and I'm gonna put this out there.
because to
And
go to Kentucky, I can go into Connie's area, and then run over and meet that guy we had last night. Run over to his area,
Yeah.
providing
Oh
he's not
yeah.
too busy.
Right. And what's
Right.
Steve?
you know, I'm gonna put this out there because I've seen this with my own eyes. If you, Mr. Daniel Benoit, was a hoaxer, why the hell would you be out on Christmas and 20-degree weather camping and squatching on Thanksgiving Day, on holidays these people spend with their families? You show me another researcher that's out there. My fat ass was in a warm house. You
Well,
know, you know,
well, he's got a girlfriend out there.
people
He
don't
goes out.
realize. They don't realize. You know, this man was out there on the holidays when people were spending time with the family doing what he loved to do in the woods. So if he's hoaxing, why would he be doing that? That don't make any sense.
He's got a girlfriend out there. He goes
Absolutely.
sees every
If you
weekend.
recall, no, well, my daughter, if you recall seeing the photos, with me in the wintertime, I actually, yeah, my daughter dedicated being out there with me during the holiday. That was actually, I did that. We got out there on a Tuesday. That Wednesday morning, we had 4 or 5 inches of snow already on the ground.
Yeah.
But we stood out. We stayed out there the whole rest of the week and the
So,
weekend. Well,
so who would want to go
we
through
were
all that?
troopers.
Right, who would want to go through all that if they're
Exactly.
going to hoax something? You know, so right there it shows you. It just shows you. You know, people just blows my
Yep.
fuse.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, and it goes back with what Steve was, no, excuse me, Ryan was saying. As far as the research and looking into things, you know, people that want to be called researchers, people who consider themselves researchers, regardless if they're consider themselves Bigfoot researchers, you need to be an investigator. When you're researching something, you need to investigate every situation and every obstacle and every object or structure, whatever you want to call it. And you got to investigate scenarios. You need to investigate your sources. You know, if you don't investigate your sources to find out what they are and where they come from, you're not going to find any bit of truth that will back up what you have come across or what you've heard or what was passed down. People fail to do this. People don't realize that for those who do this seriously, like me, Fred, Ryan, Steve, that go out and do what we can, people don't know the things that we do. People don't realize that we actually take the time to research not just on Facebook, not just in the just walking through the woods, but we actually put our mind in depth with our research. We want to investigate. We want to find the hidden little details. We want to pull out the truth in everything that we do. And sometimes we go the distance. We do whatever is necessary to find the truth. I will tell you, I do that, and I'm glad I have loyal people who are looking out for me that report back to me with stuff that's being floated around and being said, because those little things will actually kind of help me out in a way that I can't really explain. But I appreciate those people if they're watching. The ones who come back to me and send me stuff back, you know, thank you very much for that. You guys are awesome, and I will never reveal who you are because you guys are my eyes and ears in places I cannot see and hear. So, and
I
I think we all need to look out for each other more often. Um,
I just don't
but
feel
with that
it's
being
right.
said, you know, we're a team, and we're gonna make something happen. I mean, I got stuff I'm working on. I've been working on stuff for the last couple of years, and things are getting closer to being worked on and getting. There's things I've brought up in the past that I'm still working on. Rome wasn't built in a day, but things are gonna blow up eventually. Blow up in a good way. I will say that. But and there's a lot of little things I want to work towards that people know I've been working on. Having little, anywhere from little missions and goals, projects. I mean, anyone who's been following the EC Bureau for the last several years, they know that the EC Bureau has the Discovery Project, and that is still in effect. Just we're actually turning that into a different level. We're trying to bring that to a different level. It hasn't been spoken of, but the EC Bureau Discovery Project is still in effect. You can find that page on Facebook and give us a like on there too. But yeah. But yeah, as far as researching, you got to investigate. I don't care what it is. Every situation or scenario that you're presented of, you know, you got to make things a little professional every now and then. Yeah, have fun with your research, but if you're serious about it, find the truth.
Well,
I
that's what
mean,
I
just
do.
don't take people's hearsay. Investigate what they're saying.
Yeah, it's
Investigate
like
why they're saying it.
yeah, it's like me when I go
Eventually,
out.
you'll get behind them and find out where it's coming
Yeah, it's
from.
like me when I go out. I sing, I goof off, and I don't do the same thing twice. Not all the time, but
Right.
I try to make I try to make my time in the woods as educational as possible because by me doing all these, people don't realize when you start doing off the wall shit, you start getting responses. But if you go out there and you're too damn serious, you ain't gonna get squat. So that's why I go out there. I sing all sorts of off the wall songs. I do off the wall stuff. I mean, and it works. I talk to them. I sing to them.
Right.
If they throw a rock at me, I'll throw them back. Say, hey, you drop this, and throw it back at them. Make a game out of it, and you get responses. You might not get them all the time, but they know that you're not. They know that you're harmless, and you just want to have fun and check them out. So that's what I do. I don't. I mean, when I go in, yeah, there's things I do get serious about, but I try to make it as fun as possible. By you doing that,
Absolutely.
it makes anything you do, like what Paul Halsley taught me. He says, you want to get a squash to come around you? Yeah. He says, sit down at the base of a tree. Take your phone and pretend like you're playing a game. They'll start to come around. They'll come around to one side of you to try to see what you're doing, and you just keep sliding around that tree. You keep going around that tree so many times, they'll get aggravated and they'll go, or make a sound or something. They just give their location away. So I started doing, so I
Yeah.
took what, so I started taking what he said.
Paul Halsey.
Yeah, I took what Paul told me, and I added that to my arsenal. And guess what? It works. I do a lot of stuff. It's unconventional, but I get results because it drives their curiosity. That's the magic word, folks. Curiosity. That is what makes the Squatches follow you, come and check you out. And if you know how to do it right, you can get them to make them show themselves like I do in my area. I can get them to show themselves if the situation is right, and
Now
I'll do it.
you
And
got to
I'll
be
do it.
careful. Be
No,
careful
no.
with this statement though, because people will hold you to that.
Well, I don't care what people think. I mean, this is my way of doing it. It might be different in California, might be different in Canada, it might be different in bumfuck Egypt. It doesn't make a difference. It's just whatever works in your area. So if someone wants to hold me to it, go ahead. Put a chain and a lock on it. Make sure it don't get away from you, because that's the only way you're gonna get results. It might not work for most people, and some people it will. In my situation, it works, so I'm gonna continue doing it. Now I can go over to Daniel's area, and I'll go in and do the same thing, and I might not get shit, and vice versa. But I know in my area, Daniel's seen them cross the road. We've heard them come through the camp or come around the camp. Like a couple. We had a camp out. They was all around the camp. We were lucky.
yeah.
They was in that area that night for 2 nights. It was funny, but regardless to say, they were there because they were curious. And that's all that matters. That's how you get the results, folks. Going out and being serious 99.999% of the time, you're going to get 0. But you go out there and act like a complete doofus, doing what I do, you get results. Duh. I think our kindergartner can understand that. What do you think about that, Steve?
Hey, you know what? Everybody has a method to their madness. Whatever works is what you go with.
Exactly.
Hey, look, y'all, I got to jump off here. I'm sorry. But look, I just want to say thank you to everybody out there that's listening that follows Daniel and follows us here when we have our discussions. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you to everyone that follows my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that, too.
And Steve, throw that name out there for our viewers. I got a lot of new viewers on here today. And if you want to go ahead.
It's Steve's Big Squatch Theories and Opinions. And they're only about 3-minute long videos about what I think or my opinion on it, and it is what it is. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like it. It's just what I think is what it is. And, but look, y'all have a great night, and I'll catch up with y'all very shortly.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Steve.
Later, Steve.
Thanks.
Well, tell you what, everyone. Yeah, if you want, let's take it over and talk about research for the last 20 minutes or so.
You should see if anybody has any questions from the audience.
Live chat?
Yeah, from the live chat, if they want to talk about research. Any new ideas or anything.
Well, viewers watching, you heard Ryan. We're going to talk a little bit about research now. I think we got a lot of what we wanted to speak out of the way, and let that sink in and marinate to those who will eventually hear it. On the plus side, we're going to talk about what we talk about best, research, and what we do, what we find, and share opinions on a few things. And,
Okay, I'll start out.
All right, go ahead, Fred.
Like this morning, I went out for the sole purpose of making a plaster cast, which I have right here. And while the
got mine too.
while the plaster
Now go ahead.
cast,
I'm just throwing mine up for the audience.
while the plaster cast was hardening, I decided to go over to the left side of the trail and nosy around over there. Well, I found a few tracks. I started seeing structures. I got some structures on there. Then I started talking about the trails, and I said, oh, look, there's a trail that goes down to the creek. And what do you know? I got in there, and squatches went everywhere. They were right there watching me. I heard them go across the creek. I heard them run up the stream. I heard them run down the stream. Well, I went in there, went into the creek, and I say, this is where they come through at. This is where they at. Because I was looking at the rocks, and you can see the wet rocks on the other side where they crossed it, went over on the other side of the creek. All right. So, I did my little bit there, and I was coming back out, and all of a sudden I heard a big thump, thump. I had a rock thrown at me from across the creek. Okay. So I knew there was there. But while I was in there, I seen they had laurel brush twisted to make it look like a little doorway. I went through there. When I went through there, you could see over to my right, you could see a little teeny resting area, where you could see something was laying. And every structure I found was a cover to cover them up, say like if it rained or something.
Yeah.
But basically, but they was there, and I learned some more about how they design their day beds to keep out of the weather. They're right. I mean, they had perfect food source. They were right there at the creek. They had a trail in and out of there, and that's why. And they would cross from the back of the Kennedy Fields area to the front. It took me a while to figure out because I first noticed them in the front part. Then it comes to the back part. Got my head burned up. Then I started researching. A year later, now I know where their daybed is. But here's the thing. I done been in there. I might walk by it 100 million times, but I'm not ever going back in that spot again because that's their daybed, and I don't want to spook them away.
Yeah. Hey,
You
Fred, we
watch?
got a question from the live
Yeah, I was
chat.
noticing that. Yeah, go
Ryan,
ahead.
Yep.
and after you asked it, I'll go ahead and share mine first because I've saw the same question.
Cool. I didn't know if you were watching. I know you're always busy. I was just trying to help out.
Oh yeah, I got it right next to me.
I think her name is Bea Lynn.
Baylin.
Bea
Yeah.
Lynn. She had asked if we had 100% proof positive of Bigfoot, who would we contact? Would it be friends, social media, news, family? Who would we contact? And I'm assuming probably why.
Daniel, you take that one.
All right. Well, I'll take the first whack at this one. All right. Well, first of all, depending on the evidence, and if it is 100% or 100 and what they say 101% Bigfoot proof or real
So
proof of Bigfoot.
I'm
Uh,
guessing a body. If you had a body, that would be 101% proof. I mean, or 100%. I mean,
well, well, okay. Well, first of all, I would have to say this, and this is one thing I've always imagined if that was the case or if that ever happened. First of all, I would make sure I video and document the whole situation. If there was a body found, which I've always imagined, I always ask that question to myself: what if I came across a body or the remains? I would definitely videotape and document me presenting what I found, and as far as collecting evidence, document what I'm collecting, how I'm collecting it, where I'm collecting it, and as far as carefully collecting it, document everything that would provide with a visual, along with the collection of the DNA or the evidence that would be sent off for DNA analysis. And the first person I would actually contact, and this is right offhand because we've had him on the show before, is Dr. Haskell Hart. I would contact him first, and then like I've asked him before, he would definitely direct me. I would explain to him what I have first and what had happened, and then from there I would let him take it from there as far as who, because he said he has colleagues and people he has connections with, and in the labs and everything. So Dr. Haskell Hart would be my actually connection. 'Cause, I know you stated before, Ryan, that you have certain connections with you know the gentleman in New York, and the thing is, he doesn't respond to everybody because he gets a lot of that, and he doesn't waste his time dealing with a lot of people, because there's so much crap that goes on in the community. So
right.
some people would say they don't think they would tell anybody, but like I said, as far as after making the documentation and collecting the evidence, I would definitely keep the actual location, probably, you know, the actual location secret or private, but I would definitely show the surrounding where I'm finding it. I'm not going to locate what forest or where this, what general, you know, location is. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would videotape and document the findings, and then contact Dr. Haskell Hart. He's a very respectable, man. Been in the field for a very long time. Has a lot of, a lot of connections. So,
Um, uh,
and that's my take on it.
if I take a second crack at it, um, I would probably do everything that Daniel stated. I would definitely videotape it. I would definitely get as much evidence on as many full SD cards as possible. I would take samples, whether it's nail clippings, hair clippings, taking a tooth, whatever it may be that I had to do. I would hide that evidence for myself. Because whoever you call is going to take that body, regardless if it's a university, regardless who it is, and you never know what would happen to it. There's a few anthropologists out there that I would maybe talk to. We have one coming on the show. I mean, I would trust him as an anthropologist, Mr. Jahalski. I do trust Dr. Meldrum to an extent. I would probably invite him to look. I would contact the University of New York. I would probably actually. There's a story that was around the internet. I don't know, a couple of years back, where a gentleman killed one, and he dug a hole, and he drove his truck over the hole. Because I guess the police ended up coming in the game, fishing game, and all kinds of stuff, and they ended up taking the body where he figured he could hide it, and he never took samples or whatever, and the only video he had they took, so you never know what's what. So you always want something to corroborate your story. You want to have that extra evidence hidden at a family member's house, wherever you're going to hide it, bury it, whatever you're doing. Always have that extra evidence, no matter who you're going to contact. But it would have to be somebody reputable, somebody well respected. John Bindernagel, somebody out there that even Cliff Barackman, he's well respected in a lot of aspects. Those are the type of people that I would be contacting. Certain individuals we already talked to. But I would definitely have them come out, let them take their own samples so they have it. But at some point, you would have to come to the realization that that body's going to leave your possession, if that's what we were talking about, 100% proof. And when it leaves your possession, if you don't have anything, there's nothing there. So you got to do something. That would be my best interpretation of what I would do. As far as Fred, you have to answer that one, Fred.
But hey, before Fred says anything, one thing I will state, I will not let the BFRO have any affiliation or any connection to what I do, because you'll never hear about it again, or you will not get credit, and that's a fact. And I don't care how many BFRO followers are watching. I know the BFRO just from the number of stories I've been reported from former members. But that's one thing I wanted to say. I would not let the BFRO into it, because I know how they are, and I've been warned about them from several individuals, people that never even affiliated with them, apart from former members, that are well-respected individuals who know them.
I'm not saying I'd want to be
that's just
with them, but
right.
I would want some people to come out. Even Renee, who is a biologist. These are the people you want to look at. I'm not saying I'd let them take the body, but one at a time, I would let them, take care of things. But I would make sure I had all my samples taken, hidden. Honestly, the only person I would need to contact is the one individual I deal with in New York, which I try to keep his name lower because it's nobody's business, out there. We do know, but and that would be the only thing I would need to do. But if you have a lot of guys say, I'll drive it right to the news station. Well, if that body ends up leaving your hands, you're screwed. We've heard about it how many times in history? Well, I shot a Bigfoot and they took it. You hear all them crazy stories. So you have to document a lot,
Oh, you just actually reminded me of something too, Ryan.
Mhm.
That's another good thing too. I think it's safe to say that me and Fred Canny know two individuals, you know, that did the story on us, who came out and investigated with us in both areas, who've actually experienced activity in both areas. And I trust them, and the one in particular, I mean, I talk to him on occasions about a few things here and there, and I think, and he's a photographer with a newspaper company, and I think I would contact him and bring him to the location privately after collecting everything. So,
Do
Well,
we got any?
my opinion is, I got hair samples. I have one real good photograph that no one has ever seen yet, and it's not on video. It's a photograph, and it's at my mom's house, and it shows
mm,
a perfect face. It makes Patty look like a blur. I got this 10 years ago, accidental, when I was living over in Highland County.
mm.
So
Well, I'm gonna.
far as telling somebody, um, I got a lot of family who's government issue, government. It's in the government, so I can probably talk to one of them, and they could turn me on to some, like get someone from NIH in Rockville, Maryland, or someone that's part of the museums in Washington. Some,
Yeah.
and that's about who I would go to. As far as anybody else I know, in the research world, it's the same thing. They, oh yeah, yeah, we'll take care of it and everything, and all of a sudden they take credit. You don't get squashed. It's like the samples that me. It's been 2 years for me. I have not heard back from Meldrum. Y'all ever heard of Sasquatchology College in
Wait,
Canada?
say that again, Fred. Say that one more time.
Sasquatchology in the Canada.
No.
Hold on. You were kind of lagging there. That's why
I said,
no, I was
I,
hard to hear what you were saying because that's why I had to mute Ryan because when I'm
now I said, have you ever heard of Sasquatchology College in Canada?
no, I don't think I've heard of them.
That was one of the places I sent them. I'm gonna back out and come back in. All right.
All right, no, I think it was Fred. I think you were fine. It just for some reason you were getting feedback from Ryan's end because he was lagging real bad. I when I muted him, I heard you fine.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Yes.
that's one of the places I sent it to. But like I said, I don't really trust anybody because all they're wanting to do is, well, hell, I can take what he's got, and I can turn it for it and everything.
Yeah.
So, so I'm gonna back out and come back in real quick.
Okay. Okay. Ryan, yeah, you said that Paul had another question here. Said Paul's asking all right, how have well I'm gonna wait till Fred comes back.
Yeah,
We'll
I
wait till
would do
Fred
that.
comes back, and then we'll leave this as the last question because we're gonna have to get off soon because I don't know if it's the weather or what, but everyone's starting to. Let's see.
The echo's gone since Steve got off.
Yeah.
Say what? Say what?
All right, Fred, you're back. This is a question from Paul.
Okay.
How have you documented what you suspect the Bigfoot are eating, and how have you proved this? Well, I can't say I've done any of that, to be honest with you. As
Um.
far as
Well, the only thing I can really say in documenting is blueberries, because I mean, I know what bear scat looks like. I know what coyote scat looks like, and I know what size Lincoln logs that bears dump. And I found a few piles that was bigger than normal, but most everything, and I can document from everything that is blueberries, sassafras roots, stuff, food sources, tree bark. I found a pile of scat that was nothing but tree bark. Now everybody says, "Oh, that's a porcupine." We don't have porcupines in my woods, and so that's close as I can come to documenting exactly what they eat. Now, how to prove it, I can't, because you can take all the DNA you want from every pile of scat and from here to Charlie's tuna boat and back. How are you going to know if it's a squatch or not?
Well, I can comment there quickly. In my area, there was an apple tree and a cherry tree that I found my area because I used to metal detect, and there was some old home sites. So I'm guessing that sometime throughout history, these were planted there. I don't know if it was the last 50 years or whatever. But we used to go cut through that area where the apple trees were and where there's a few cherry trees. And we noticed a lot of the things were, taken. In higher regards to where deer can't reach and things like that. Well, we ended up getting a Sasquatch print out of there, which happened to be like the 16-inch one that we casted. So to me, I would directly correlate that that they're at least passing through that and eating some of that food. But as far as proving it, you would have to directly analyze their scat. That would be my take on that.
Right.
But like I said, when we got the footprint out of the little apple orchard there was like this little mud hollow and wallow, and it actually stepped right in it. And then it seemed like it skirted the outside of the tree, and around the 9-foot mark, all the apples were like stripped off of the one tree. It was pretty interesting. So we were like, whoa, and then when we found that print in that area, it's almost a direct correlation. Of course, if you don't have it on camera, you can't prove it. And a skeptic or a naysayer, they won't believe you. But we did pull the print out of there, so we were fairly safe in saying, hey, we believe that at least the Squatches came through here. They must have been, getting food. As far as meat eaters, you hear stories of them eating deer. Maybe they're more opportunistic. I don't know. But that won't ultimately come out till one is dissected, probably.
Yeah.
Paul asked if I documented the particular event. I documented taking the footprints, casting some of them. I do have some photos. I don't recall if I have it on video where we're walking through the apple orchard or not. I'll have to check that out. I really can't remember, but I did document us taking that print out of that area.
All right. If you guys want to continue talking about something, I'm actually working on something. I'm going to screen share afterwards.
Yeah. Now,
I was just looking at the live chat, so when they have questions, I was helping everybody out here so I can read them and we can try to answer them, Fred, while Daniel's busy.
Oh, yeah.
all right. Well,
Yeah,
let me ask
I appreciate you doing that, Ryan, too. So.
Let me ask you a question, Ryan.
What's up, brother?
Have you ever found hair before?
Oh yeah, I found a lot of hair. We actually just sent some into New York.
Okay, what color was it and how long was it?
See, here's the thing. I found some really odd samples. I found some scat, and it was obviously some type of meat eater ate something. It was gray, and it was coiled up really tight, ball hairs, and it
That
had a
sounds,
and
that
it had
sounds,
a
that sounds like a coyote.
and it had a tooth, but it was a huge pile. I mean, like the size of two softballs.
Well, a
So
bear eats meat when it has to, like in wintertime when they're, a bear is an opportunist, and he
right,
will take and eat meat too.
and then right, definitely. So I had to send that in with the tooth to find out what that was because I'm very curious. We've also found see, but I don't have a lot of bears up here in Western New York like you guys do in Virginia.
All right, how about hogs, like feral hogs, Russian boar hogs?
We don't have them.
Are you
Yes, people have reported seeing them, but
okay?
our DEC states that we do not have them.
Well, of course they're
Um,
going to say that because Virginia says we don't have mountain lions in the Shenandoah Valley, and everybody I know who's got photographs of them in the woods or in guys' cornfields and stuff like that, but they're not.
Well, we had one cross the road on us, and
Yeah.
then I got tracks of them too.
but as far as feral hogs, we would get reports from a lot of we have a lot of corn up here. We have a great belt too, up in Western New York, but a lot of corn. And I suspect that if we had the feral hogs, the farmers would be reporting it. Um, so no, we don't have that. But then we started getting like multicolored hairs, where they were dark brown at the top, and then it would go down in color, almost like a deer hair would from a root, but it wasn't a deer hair. They would go from brown, dark brown to a real dark brown to a black, and then at the base it would be white.
Okay. Now the hair samples that I've got at the base of the roots, it would be a dark brown, and as it gets out to the 6 inch to 8 inch mark, the hair would start getting curly, and it would
Yes.
end up being an orange color.
See, I did find a dark brown 8-inch curly sample that I pulled out of our uh, bait box, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Um, and we did send that in also. Um, but probably the most curious sample that I've continued to come up with, that I have no idea, being a hunter, what it is. It's a translucent hair.
Well,
It's
Squatches do have translucent hair
well,
to a point.
it is. It's almost like a clear hair, like you can see through it, like
Yep.
translucent. It's very odd, and I keep coming up with these hairs. This is probably the fourth time that they've come up. So finally, I sent one in because I need to know, for better or worse. I'm busting my ass out there. I want to know what's what. The only way to prove something is trial and error. Um, Essentially, that's science. Trial and error.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
where the
Because
translucency is where my theory comes in about cloaking. They're not turning invisible, but a lot of animals have a translucent hair that reflects the brown of the tree, the green of the tree, and helps them blend in.
bobcat,
Right.
a bobcat can sit
Deer.
right in the open. Yeah, could sit right in the open in a brush pile. He could sit outside the brush pile, and you would never see him. So yeah, squatches have it because everybody says, "Oh, they turn invisible." No, they don't. They use translucent hair to camouflage, blend in. That's all it is to it, man. It's so simple.
Right, and I think that's the key. I think we would be on to something. Not us, but the whole communities would be on to something when they start finding these translucent hairs. Um, the one I sent was probably 4 inches long. But it was, like I said, it was like a clear nature, and I don't know, I've never seen anything like it.
All right, let's put it this way. How big was that hole with the brushes? Was it like 4x4, 2x2, 6x6, or what?
Well, it can fit my arm up. I mean, let me turn my camera on here.
When you take,
Uh, my arm's not super big, but I can get it in the brushes to like right here, and then I gotta push.
okay,
So I
all right,
mean,
so
my
okay,
arm is
all
like
right,
that.
okay. So in other words, you have to go halfway up your arm before it starts to touch the brush, right?
I do, yes, but a Sasquatch arm's going to be bigger, so
Exactly. So where is that first bit of hair going to come off of? It's going to come off his wrist. His wrist, in the front part of his wrist, on the back of his wrist, on each side of it. And he's going to push. And what he's doing, he's pushing against his hair. It's going in, and then when he comes out, it's going to pull anything that's on it off, like
right.
fly paper. So you got to expect we're going from his wrist to about right here when he sticks his arm in, because his
And the
arm.
hair's gonna be possibly shorter there because he uses his hands and arms and wears it off a little bit.
Exactly.
Right. No, it is. That's why we came up with that trap idea, or whatever you want to call it, but I made sure it was at least 30 inches deep, like, um,
Because ain't no other animal going to stick their arm in there because they don't know how to do it. Now a crow can figure out how to get in there, a squirrel can figure out how to get in there, a coon can figure out how to get in there, but a bear is going to try to tear the trap up to get that meat. But a
right,
squatch, is smart. They said the only way to get there is I got to stick my hands in there. Without thinking, he's going to stick his arm in there without thinking.
and the craziest part about it, we just made our last video. We come across the creek bottom before we had even got to the trap, and I had noticed a print in the gravel. It was really deep. It was about 13-inch print, and I showed my buddy. I said, "I'll be damned if that don't look like a print," on video. And he's like, "Yeah, it could be," And we go walking up the hill, and I said, "Now, before we get to that trap, if that meat is gone out of that trap, that's a good chance that print had something to do with it. And I'll be damned if that trap wasn't moved, thrown on the ground, the branch was broken that it was hooked to, and it was gone." We ended up getting samples out of that, which I still have downstairs. I have the samples wrapped up. My test tubes, actually, because I'm sticking everything in test tubes, and I'm sending them that way now because they're smaller packaging. I ordered like 250 test tubes for, I think it was like $20 or something. So, and it's a safe way to send them. But we've been noticing we'll put the cameras out, we'll keep the cameras on the traps, and we get nothing. We don't get bear, we don't get raccoons, we don't get anything trying to get at the damn traps. We remove the cameras, and within 5 days, the meat will be gone of removing the cameras. It's so amazing. It's almost like they know.
Because they watch you when you go in, they watch every step you do. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get in there, find a thick tree with a thick bark, cut you out a square, wrap the strap around the tree, take the thick bark, cut a hole in it, and put it back in front and attach it to the camera. Scott Carpenter did that, and he got a squatch. When it showed Scott putting up another camera, and right behind him, about 8 to 10 feet, there was a squatch who had peeked his head out and was looking at Scott, but didn't realize that camera, and he used a birch tree.
So he already had a camera hidden.
Right. He had it camouflaged with that tree bark. I keep telling people that. I'd say Scott Carpenter did it, and he got a squatch. Oh, blah, 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 blah. But think, he got one, and the squash didn't even know that he had his picture taken because he was paying more attention to what Scott was doing. See, think about that. It's little stuff you can do like that squatches don't realize it. You know, you can put one camera up, and then you come over here and you can start doing this and here. They'll forget about that one you just come away from. But if you leave it out where they can see it, yeah, they're going to avoid it. But if you camouflage it with the natural bark of a tree, guess what? They won't pay attention to it. Oh, Lordy. Got Lael on there now. Oh.
I had to put the panel on there.
Who's that little geek down there with the white hat and the sunglasses?
I don't know. He looks like what you would call a Yankee.
Jerk.
Damn, I've been on 30, 40 minutes.
No,
nobody acknowledged me.
No, I was looking at the pictures on here, and they got some little geek on here.
Oh, God.
Got his hat turned around, got shades on.
I'm on I see now.
Looked like a cat licked the cream. Looked like the cat licked the cream off of his face and everything, you know.
I look good in that picture, don't I, Fred?
Look like a damn.
Hey,
look like
Ryan. That's why I chose that picture. That's why I chose that picture out of your profiles.
Thanks. Thank you. I figured that.
Look like a little city slicker.
I'm shocked.
It's funny. He looks like my best friend Mike, who is from New York in that picture. But my friend Mike's is actually from the Long Island. So.
Actually, for me, that's a decent picture because I don't take decent pictures. Thanks, Dan. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. You know something?
I didn't even notice.
That was from a group photo you were in. I had to crop it just to get you, to put you in it.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, it looks okay.
Yeah, because most of your pictures are of your son and other people. So.
Who's got a dog barking?
Lael,
me.
I think.
We had a quick post, Paul Halsey. Is it Halsey or Halsey?
Halsey.
Well, it's Hulsey. Halsey. Okay.
Okay.
He said hair that has lost its pigment is considered to be translucent, which is when it turns gray, according to an article.
Yeah.
Wonder if you can share that article. Who wrote it?
Well, my question is, it depends on who the person is that wrote the article.
It's funny. Blue Ridge Granny said, then my gray hair should be invisible.
Okay, Paul said his name is Hulsey, not Hulsley. It's Hulsey. Hulsey, and he split it apart. Hulsey.
Oh,
well, he's never corrected us
getting
before.
technical now, is he? Yeah, he's getting technical now, huh? Okay, Mr. Hulsey.
How many times do you think my name has been pronounced incorrectly? And I just go with it, you know.
Pelt?
You know,
no, Lael.
Lael? No, that's her. No. You know something?
Tell us, Fred.
No, I don't. I don't want to know.
Okay.
Because he's got that grin on his face, like he wants to say something.
I know. I don't want to know. There you go.
I'll skip it. I'll skip it.
Skip it till later.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
But I like my name, but and some people pick it right up and go right on, and some people can't pronounce it for years.
Lael.
Well, yeah, Lael. Just like it's spelled, Lael. Lael.
E-L, yeah.
But I've been called Layla and Leela and Eel and
Lulu.
well, Layla a lot because of the song. But anyway, go
Layla.
with yeah. You remember the song Layla?
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who that song was about, Leo?
Who? A
Uh,
girl named
Layla.
a
Paul
girl named Layla.
Paul McCartney's wife. He was in love with her. He was in love with Paul McCartney's wife, so he wrote the song about her. That's where it come from.
Yeah,
I
wasn't it? Won't you ease my broken mind, Layla?
I I've got a
No,
friend.
I ain't gonna start singing.
Anyway, no, I won't go into all that now. But anyway, yes, I like my name, although it's hard for some people. It's a good name. It served me well. Okay. What else
Well, hey, I got
we
a
need to
question.
chat before we go? Go ahead.
Well, I got a question for everybody. What's everyone's goal for this year to produce or maybe find some awesome evidence for the year? Every year I try to set goals every year, every time, the seasons start up, and I look forward to what's coming up as far as we know the seasons are here. It's going to get hot eventually. We've been having some cool weather. It's going to get hot eventually. That we got the summer to look forward through, to work through. Then we have the fall, which will eventually come after September. So, but like last year, all the way up through November, we've had really warm weather here in Virginia. November, even in the parts of December were very warm. I was camping out all through December, and like you heard from Steve, I camped out Christmas. Christmas Eve anyway. So I mean, we have from this point on through the whole summer, throughout fall to look forward to. Um, you know, I've got the ECBRO expedition coming up. I will have one later in the year as well, probably around September. Um, and one thing, I have
Well,
not set a date for it, but I've been trying to work on setting up a town hall event. And I've done it for the last 2 years, and I'm working on having another one. I'm going to contact the newspaper, see if they could, put an advertisement in there. But yeah, does anyone have any goals or anything they want to work towards this year as far as research and stuff?
My,
I'll start.
okay.
Okay.
Well, I would like to say that as for me, 2016, one of my goals has already been achieved. A big goal by dragging my lazy butt out and going and spending the weekend. Had a wonderful experience, a good time, scared to death, uh, but a good experience. So therefore, that basically fulfilled a big goal of my life. Was that me and Beth actually went. Um, and we might go again. So that would be my goal. Not, I guess you would call it research wise. I think I'm not sure. The other night I might have said research when I meant enthusiast. But they're talking about going again already, and we might get out and do another camp out with Fred or one of yours, Dan. So that would be my goal. Maybe we'll get out again and get some more experiences.
Oh, there you go. And as far as research goes, or like you said, enjoy just being out there to enjoy the experience. Tell you what, the more you do it, I think the more you'll really, really get into it, and it's the more it'll start growing on you. You'll want to do more, and it just not just the experience, but with more experiences, actually you'll pick up and learn a lot more, and a lot of things that you hear me and Fred and Ryan talk about. Everything that you hear in the Bigfoot communities, you'll see a lot of that kind of fall into place. A lot of it will start making sense to you because it's like a lot of what we try to teach people and explain. It's it's one thing for people to hear it and they say they understand it, but they don't completely understand it till they get to experience it when they're out there.
Mhm.
And when you're out there enough, eventually, it's not going to happen the first time you're out there. As far as a lot of the stuff we try to explain, but yeah, the
Get
more you get
familiar.
out there, um, I mean, the more you'll learn, and the
And
more you learn and research, man, it's yeah. You
I
Okay.
go ahead.
wasn't I
Okay.
wasn't as I wasn't as scared the second night, but I still, and thank God I wasn't as cold. But I still, it was almost like I knew that I was a zombie because I had no sleep the first night, and I knew I needed to get some sleep. But I wanted to hear it. And it was almost like I didn't want to go
Oh
to
yeah,
sleep because I wanted to hear it. And I did hear some more things, a lot of things, early, the wee hours of Saturday morning. And it was just, and I wasn't quite as scared. I was a little more excited about it. And it was truly a great experience to hear
right.
the things I have heard on videos and whatnot for years, and to hear them for myself, it was so cool. So okay, I'll finish. Y'all can move on.
All right, I'll go next. My main
Okay, I want
objective.
to make a couple brief statements on. Yeah, let me make a couple brief statements. First of all, I want to thank Blue Ridge Granny for being a faithful viewer and follower of our podcast, and Paul Housley. I think he's looking forward to riding in your Jeep, Fred.
Yeah, I know he is. He's
So,
going to. I'm gonna get him.
all
I'm
right,
gonna
but you
let
can
him
take it
drive
away
it.
from here.
Okay, my main objective this year is I'm gonna get me a Squatch to give his location away where I can get a clear shot. Of course, it's going to be from behind or from the side, but knowing my antics and what I do when I'm in the woods, I told people that I was going to get Squatches on video. I did. It might not, and 90% of and I tell people this: 90% of the Squatches that you will find on in anybody's area is on video. Okay, I made a video saying I'm gonna I'm gonna teach y'all how to make a Squatch give his location away, and you'll see him. Okay, I got lucky. I did a video, and what do you know? I did exactly what I said I was going to do, and when I heard that snap, I turned the camera and I zoomed in at 80 feet. There was a big, massive one right in front of me, squatting down. Right behind that one is where I got the picture of the one peeping around the tree snarling at me. Up in the left-hand corner, I got one standing behind a tree. So it's basically knowing how to do it, knowing your squatches, and knowing how to make them give their location away. I've gotten good with that.
Right.
And but this but this year I'm gonna get one. It might be a juvie, it might be a young one. Hell, who knows? I might have one come across the road on me again. I could, if I would have I had just put everything away, put it in my backpack, had it in the back of the Jeep, camcorder and all, was going home. And that's when that one come out of the woods on all fours, come out in the middle of the road and stopped and stood up. If I'd have had my video camera with me, I would have had the best evidence right there showing him coming out on the road on all fours, stopping and standing up. So that was my screw up. But I did go back the next day and record every footprint from the time he went back in that woods to the top of that ridge where he turned and looked at me. And even a game warden can verify that now. Katie, she can verify it, and everything. But that's my main goal.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I just made sure I was muting myself because yeah, you were lagging real bad. Once I muted myself, it seems like it helped a little bit. But yeah, I heard I made out pretty much everything you said. There was a couple lagging, but um, I don't see. Oh wait a minute. Um, I don't see any more last minute questions here. I think we could go ahead and end the podcast, and then everyone, as usual, stay nearby. For viewers, for those who are still watching and viewing right now, just a heads up: tomorrow night, it's still on. As far as I know, it's still on at 7 p.m. We go live with Kenneth Jaloski. He's an anthropologist, so we get to hear from him and talk about Bigfoot with him. So that should be pretty interesting. And let's see. Oh, then Thursday night, a reminder for Thursday night. As far as I know, I'm still on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Night Callers Radio. Does anyone have any last minute statements before we go off air?
I don't guess. I came in late.
No, I'm good.
It's all right.
What I came
Anyone else?
what I watched and before I had company, and then when I came in, seemed like a interesting, good show.
All right, cool. And let's see. Let's see. Hold on. I want to read a couple last things on the chat here. All right, May Lynn, thank you for a wonderful podcast. And Paul Halsey says, "Good guy." And then Blue Ridge Granny says, "Daniel and guys, please have Brian Sullivan, also known as AKA Duke, on as soon as you can." Well, that's a promise. I will contact Brian Sullivan. He was actually on our live chat yesterday. He participated. Was it yesterday he was with us? No, it wasn't yesterday. It was Sunday. Yeah, he was on Sunday, so that should be pretty interesting. And Paul Husley made an announcement. Let me make this announcement here. The MNBRT radio may be coming back soon. Abe Del Rio. So be on the lookout for that, everyone. And everyone, thank you guys for an awesome podcast, great discussion, and we'll be back for more. And thank you for being faithful followers and viewers of our show. And we love your interaction. And if you haven't done so, subscribe so you don't miss a show. God bless.